All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for some more Valorant action here at Predator League Philippine Qualifiers. Once again, my name is Bluey and I'm joined by the wonderful and amazing Ramon Cas. Now, Ramon, give us a quick rundown of what happened just now in our last match of today.
It took a while, pero syempre, it was a banger coming out from Sipto versus Oasis Gaming, where it was the discipline and the momentum swinging into the favor of the attacking side, or defensive side, ng Oasis Gaming nga naman. Maayos yung naging simula ng Sipto just from their anchors alone. Pero pagdating sa defense ng Oasis, hindi nauubos yung naipakita mga strats, yung naipakitang discipline, at pati na rin yung tutok ng mga players natin on Oasis. Naipakita nga ni Tesseract kung gaano siya kagaling with the ultis, netting in the match MVP and getting them the undefeated streak papunta sa semifinals natin.
And that's absolutely amazing. Just the way that both of those teams played in that last match is something that we expected and they delivered. But right now, let's focus on the task at hand. But before I say anything, Ramon, let me paint you a picture. Imagine going into this tournament, they secured their slot. They were on their way into this without having to, just work through any sort of bracket. On the other end of the stick, however, the Archers having to push through, having to fight for that slot to get their one back, going up against Olfu, Ember, Phoenix, and now they're back together as we're going to be seeing their team profiles here with DLSU going to be the first team to be shown on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. These are one of the combatants that are about to enter this arena against their familiar foe, against Olfu, Ember, Phoenix, and now this is a different face from what they showed here in this fight, considering how Tomix, Vision, Banuno, and the rest of the squad is going to be. Makikita natin dito, this is a different roster than what they put up against Olfu, Ember, Phoenix in Campus Rivals. And this is looking to be shining down upon them as Amix is going to be on the coaching staff for them, Ramon.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, this was an exciting roster to actually take control or take note of, considering that they kind of changed it up from their Campus Rivals woes nung nandito pa lang si Eusebio, or just one of the players nga naman dati from DLSU, just making their shining moment, pero it wasn't really this up to the standard that DLSU were supposed to be expected out from Eno. So parang this gave an opportunity for the players that they're going to be facing up against to actually claim that crown, claim that trophy because of what they were able to show. Pero there is no mistaking it. This is a DLSU Green Aces that is hungry to take the crown, and they're looking to fight that up against their brethren in the collegiate scene.
And this is something that I want to highlight though with Olfu, Ember, Phoenix as we show them the team profile of these players, is that these players, they've been through hell in this tournament so far. I mean, they went through that early loss and then they got their backs against Drip Cash PH, securing them this slot. But as of the moment, it is going to be still the same roster. No Dignified just yet, but it is going to be Ionix and Kevzi going to be subbing in for Olfu, Ember, Phoenix, with the core still there as West Shintaro and Repulsive going to be a problem here for the side of the Aces, as they are going to be seen here. Just smiles all across the board. Just, having some snacks before the match, another day at the office here for Olfu, Ember, Phoenix, or should I say another day in the classroom, as they are about to put up a test for the Green Aces if they have excelled and evolved from the last time they faced each other.
Of course, this is not gonna be the full roster that they kind of planned to take towards. Shoutout nga pala kay Dignified. Get well soon sa idol natin. Unfortunately, nagka-dengue at the end of the day. Hopefully, makita natin siya back on the server kasi he is an integral part to what Olfu, Ember, Phoenix can actually count on. Kaya naglalaro dito si Kevzi, but never mistake it. Kevzi was also an integral part into what they were able to show dun sa Sunset. He was a really good Sage at the end of the day. Maayos yung naging util niya when it comes to stopping the pushes from Drip Cash. Ultimo, siya nga yung parang isa mga supportive forces para mabigyan ng confidence agad yung mga players natin on Ember Phoenix. Kaya nagkaroon ng parang decisive calling na agad yung mga players natin here at Olfu, Ember Phoenix, giving a lot more chance for the player na si Shintaro to shine on the server that actually gave them the win. So this is a monumental victory nonetheless kasi it will be this DLSU squad versus ang Olfu, Ember, Phoenix. Way back when, you can never tell na may mga collegiate players na pwede nga pa rin maglaro sa gantong tier ng competition, pare. But here we are now at the big 2025 where we have two of them fighting for their own tournament lives on the way to playoffs.
Absolutely, as they unleash their peak gaming speeds, just like what the Helios Neo 16S AI can offer, the Predator Helios Neo 16S giving that performance that doesn't compromise, as you need to shop for this now at Acer Predator Online Shop, Acer Predator Shopee, and Acer Predator Lazada, or at any resellers near you.
Yeah, and don't forget to step up, stand out, and be ready for anything with the Helios 18. Shop now at the Acer Predator Online Shop, Acer Predator Shopee, and Acer Predator Lazada, or at any resellers near you. That is it for the Helios 18 as well as the Helios Neo 16S AI, both the top-of-the-line laptops for you to get your hands on. Ayan eh, no, Bluey? We've been setting this up for the collegiate teams to face off against each other. And what better way to put the storyline than this to be the revenge match for the ages? It was DLSU who had the dynasty, but it was very much Ember Phoenix, the Kingslayers, on their own right to battle it out to make sure that this was not a fluke victory back at Campus Rivals.
And now they're here to reclaim their victory, possibly. But right now, Ramon, as we head into this match, syempre, we need to put our 2 cents into this fight. So titingnan natin, sino ba ang pick mo para manalo dito sa match na to? Only one collegiate team can come out on this.
Ito just based off of stability and based off of peak form nga naman, in my eyes, mas madaling bigyan ng chance ang DLSU right now. So I'm putting it 1-0. Simply put, dahil nga naman sa kung ano yung naipakita nila from the past 2 days. Sure, they had to come back very early on doon sa bind game nila, pero just after that, mas malinis na. Yun na ipakita nga naman ng mga star players nila dito. Granted, ginawa din yun ng Olfu, pero for me, DLSU have more of the resources, DLSU have more of that stability.
And this might come as a shock to everyone that's watching right now, but I'm actually gonna have to disagree with my boy Ramon here. With the form of Olfu Ember Phoenix, honestly, there is no doubt that they can and they will still keep this throne towards their favor. As they were the champions of Campus Rivals, they're here to bring in the heat. They have that gun upgrade with Kevzi and Aeonix in their roster, and with Shintaro pulling up numbers like he did yesterday, having him as his top ACS ranking player in this whole tournament, they have what it takes and they will take this win against them. Honestly, it's gonna be a very difficult call on who wins this, as both teams have gun upgrades, both teams have that sort of firepower that takes the win here. But honestly, in my opinion, it's gonna boil down to who's better on the barrel. And as of the moment, with the stats showing what's right, it is gonna be Olfu Ember Phoenix for me taking this map. But who knows, ladies and gentlemen, it is just the prediction of us casters. Makikita natin dito ang mga players natin ang magbababa at magbababa talaga dito ng answer sa question kung sino ba talaga ang mananalo dito sa match na to.
Absolutely. At dito sa matchup din natin, we not only need to take a look at it at a team versus team basis. Syempre, tingnan din natin at a head-to-head. In my eyes, it is Tomix versus Shintaro, both high-ceiling duelists, finding their form when they need to dito sa pareho nating teams for sure. It's the flashy plays from Shintaro that are getting them over the line, but the consistency from Tomix has been providing a window for the entries to come on in para sa DLSU. Hindi ko masasabing star player si Tomix, pero he gets the job more than just done. He's actually more than a capable duelist para lang magkaroon ng maayos na sistema ng DLSU. He doesn't need to overpeak, he doesn't need to overrush anything. He's the type of player that knows his assignment very well, and once he's able to get the opening para dito sa DLSU, then that's more than enough as your duelist for you. Pero you can't deny the amount of explosiveness nga naman na niya-offer ni Shintaro when he's feeling the heat. But the question is, if he is going to be able to activate that early on, kasi may mga times na nadidelay masyado yung magiging early form ni Shintaro dito eh.
Absolutely. And De La Salle University, they have been known to shut down those plays wherein makikita natin, hero plays coming in, possibly even from Shintaro or any of the players here from the side of Olfu Ember Phoenix. But as of the moment, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be heading straight into our Agent Select to see how this game will be playing out. I am so ready for this, Ramon. I'm so excited for what they have cooked up for this, as Amix is going to be on the coaching booth here for the side of the DLSU Green Aces as we head back into Sunset, as Olfu Ember Phoenix performed stellarly last time they faced up against Drip Cash on this map. As DLSU Green Aces, however, it's going to be completely different. A different battleground here for them, as it's not going to be Haven, where it's been their favorable map for quite some time. But as I've heard, Sunset is one of their bread and butter picks too, if not even better. So it really boils down to who has the better pick. And with the way that the picks are laid out, Ramon, the only difference really is going to be the duelist pick with Shintaro on the Raze and Tomix on the Neon.
Yeah, it's a complete comp change for DLSU Green Aces on the other side though, as the last time that they played Sunset in this current patch was the double initiator comp. It would have been Sekre on that breach. It would have been a Sova 4 Vision. Yes, he still keeps it, but they don't have the double initiator anymore. They're putting more stock into the Sage, into Sekre. This puts a little bit more emphasis on their defensive side, which they are gonna start in anyway. But it will be less resources to put in if you are gonna put all your trust on the Neon. So DLSU are gambling with a new composition. Let's see how this will work out against Olfu in the revenge match for the ages.
And this is going to be the final stage for these collegiate champions. Who are going to be coming out on top? Is it going to be the Phoenix, or will the Archers strike them down? Let's get it off straight up in round number 1.
Phoenix starting on the attack. They're gonna approach this with 4 people majority. They try to take control of B main. Banunu with an early spy cam. Trying to get some more info. Already shut down, so that will be Phoenix on the hunt for that B site lurk.
But now it is going to go quiet, as Banunu is going to be holding this, as well as Gelson. Expecting this, however, as it looks like Olfu is looking to set themselves up for a full man rush. However, Aeonix is already going to be pulling out and looking for a push towards mid, but the smokes are going to be coming out and the execute is in. Paranoias are going to get traded out and that delays the push. But right now, Shintaro putting the pedal to the metal. As Fission is going to be the one to come out on top as Banunu takes Repulsive and Gelson takes down West. Kevzi, however, the champion, is looking to mow things down, but Banunu is there for the failsafe. Gelson and Fission are out of the game, but it's all up to Aeonix. The lurk now being put back in towards B main, and he's trying to siege for this spike.
It's a crossfire established. It's an impossible task. Aeonix has to take the first shot. He does. And now Tomix down. That will put Banunu in a bit of pressure. But Sekre is here to save the day for DLSU. A perfect way to start off their game against Ember Phoenix, who are coming in with a lot of stride. They started going for that B-main aggression, fully knowing that it was a risky attempt because of the one-way, because of the things that we're trying to delay them from ever taking B-main control. But it was Banunu, the sharp edge of the blade, who had full confidence into approaching the full entry from the side of Ember Phoenix. So this will net them the first round on the board. And it's also a good thing that they had an amazing timing into rotating from that Boba position, because they were already on backside, but they needed to take care of that frontline business.
Absolutely. Right now the buys are going to be on the side of DLSU as Ember Phoenix taking a lot of space. Pings are going to be thrown across the map, and they're looking to push in towards Market here. Gonna be meeting the crosshairs of your boy Banunu, but Gelson is watching B main. Switches their focus on towards mid, and is covered here by Tomix and Fission. Shot gonna be found there by Fission, and it looks like it is gonna be Repulsive down. No smokes for Ember Phoenix as they pull out from that position.
That one shot is just gonna net Ember Phoenix to more than hesitate to actually take that mid control. Problem is, the spike is already committed on that side as Tomix continues to rain terror on that mid space. West all alone on an island, and that will be another shot for Tomix. Aeonix with one, and it will be another for Tomix. That will be a bit of damage done, but he's low on HP. Any bullet counts for this as Aeonix makes it a triple kill. This guy is coming up alive where they need him the most.
And this is very difficult for LaSalle. I mean, they had the clear-cut round, but they had the thirst, they had the greed. And Aeonix is just taking that credits away from them. The Sekre holding this with full HP and a stinger. Aeonix doesn't expect this, as he's going to be taking that kill, but it is going to tank a lot of economy here for the side of DLSU. They take that round, but Ember Phoenix are just going to be biting back harder in this third round.
Absolutely bittersweet by the end of it, because of the amount of damage that Aeonix was able to deal. DLSU were caught off guard by 2 people coming out of B main. They thought that Aeonix was going to be on the lurk, but he was actually together with his teammates. Get themselves that B main push. 3 shots to the head, just enough to knock the economy down a peg for DLSU. They get the round nonetheless, but they are going to have to get an aggressive approach.
Swing found as the shot is going to be connecting for Wes. Fission out of the picture as he saves his teammate and gets a heal back on towards it. And now the re-aggress is looking forward for DLSU. They're trying to take as much space as possible, but Ember Phoenix does take note of this and they are just holding this angle.
They do have the one way to set up. Kevs holding down the angle, Vandal in hand against Tomix, who has to close the gap right up against his former teammate. 0, Kevz just holding down the angle. They're just waiting for the over-aggress yet again for DLSU.
Right now, they're just playing so well with the way that Ember Phoenix knows how to play the man advantage. They know to freeze before things get sticky, but Gelson is there to take a trade. That forces him out. Tomix takes down Kevzi, but West is there for the trade once again. Sekre gonna be playing it smart and putting a slow orb to put a stop to the tracks of Ember Phoenix.
They're putting all the pressure in the world for the entry on Ember Phoenix. They have a choice to either claim out the frag over to Link, since there's 2 players watching down that angle, or force themselves into Sekre on the elbow position. Looks like it's the latter.
Here it is, Gelson gonna be aiming towards short as he drops. Sekre able to take down Repulsive, and Shintaro gun upgrade found as Wes is saving the day, but Banunu with a frenzy sprays it down, and DLSU showing face and making sure that these rounds are theirs. Ember Phoenix's look is shaky, Ramon.
Too shaky, man. I mean, the push in towards the A side, committed because of the time, committed because of the amount of pressure being dealt onto Ben from the defense. The over push on Tomix just made sure that the short angle was covered by him. And despite the trade from Wes, Sekre had a high value wall that netted them not only the decisive info that they were committing, but they had to peek into one push. They gambled on towards the elbow spot, which netted them the double kill. LSU starting in the best case scenario, 3-0. Now forcing Ember Phoenix on the low buy. This is not looking good for them so far.
This is going to be difficult, as DLSU has been known to overheat at times where they need to stay calm. Gonna be throwing a lot of utility here and emphasizing the push on towards this side as Shintaro takes the double swing, double satchel swing. Fish and Gelson and Banunu spotting out the kills that they need as the kill feed is running red now as Aeonix is there for the trade, looking for a slide, and Tomix saves the day. Aeonix coming out with these frags, being able to secure those 3Ks to deal enough damage to their economy. But DLSU is still coming out on top, taking these rounds, not leaving any breathing room here for the side of All Ember Phoenix, and you love to see it, Ramon.
They can't always count on Aeonix to do everything. It was a low buy. It was a rush in towards a site where DLSU was prepared. And prepared they were with Banunu holding down the helm from that backside position. So many things thrown at them to make sure that this was not going to be an easy push. So many times that DLSU are prepared for these executes. And that is a little bit of a fumble. Tomix just stunned up his teammate. Even though DLSU are showing more than just dominance, so much confidence in their stride, they are prone to still making some mistakes. Ember Phoenix have to be aware of this.
As he knows, Gelson is looking for a swing, gets tagged off, but it looks like he's not going to be dealing any damage whatsoever. Tripwire going to get broken there as a rotation is found, trying to gather information on towards mid.
I believe that's also an operator invested from Tomix on the mid side. The LSU just running the clock down with the utility already invested into the round. It is a glitch, ladies and gentlemen. We are still at round number 5, where Aeonix is lurking around the shadows, spotting out Sekre, but it will be difficulty in the mids, pushing into the A site, knowing there's 2 people on DLSU here.
Sekre able to secure kill on Aeonix. No heroic plays coming out from him this time, as they are looking to push up on towards elbow, meeting the crosshairs of Sekre. Gets a shot to connect the Kevzi, and Repulsive. Shintaro with a trade, but Tomix is there to save his brother. A recon bolt for West. Gonna be tagging 2 players. Shock gonna be connecting here to Tomix. No damage found. Shock's gonna get close. Looking to make a shot to connect, but cannot find it. As Gelson and the rest of the squad of DLSU push further and put the pressure on Ember Phoenix. This is dangerous for them, ladies and gentlemen, as they have not found a single round just yet.
Steadfast in his presence, Lucas Gruenberg, the sage of DLSU, is showing no fear with how Ember Phoenix has approached the elbow push. Already claiming 3 picks despite the movement from Shintaro. He is unrelenting in the angle that he is able to hold. And this is off of DLSU also, with how they approach these defensive rounds. They're not taking the early peaks. They're not taking any chances with the 50-50 fights. They're able to assess the situation with one-way smokes on A lobby. The slow coming down over towards that side of the map as well. All the trust in Banunu to hold the B site. able to assess the situation before Ember Phoenix even think about what kind of game plan they want to do. This is amazing from DLSU so far.
That forces an early timeout here from Ember Phoenix, something that we did not expect from their performance. I mean, yes, you're going to be looking at them performing really, really badly against PH Rejects, but then they turned things around when they were able to fight against Drip Cash PH. Able to secure it with Yokam on the roster.
They also have to consider the jump change that they have. I mean, a lot of the set plays that was being put on by Ember Phoenix has been stopped with a Sage Wall, has been stopped with a slow orb. Ember Phoenix need to chill out, reassess, refocus on how they're going to be approaching these rounds. With the clock winding down, round 6 comes in for Ember Phoenix, still on the attack, but they're on a low buy.
Very difficult here on the side of Ember Phoenix, as they are going to be coming off of this timeout. So they have that audible, but the guns are just not going to be on their favor, so they turtle up.
2 of the players on the LSU are pushing B main. They have no info about the push yet. They destroyed the trip wire, so they know that the Cypher is around the area. But how close are they going to be, assuming that Aeonix is going to be on that look? They hear the drone. Vision is aware of the push on A. He sees the shot and he kills down Shintaro. That will put a lot more leverage for DLSU on the defense.
Beautiful execution there, as Repulsive is trying to weed out where the positioning of Sekre is going to be, but he's not going to be on top of that wall, as a shock dart is going to get thrown out. Early kill here found on Shintaro, and this is not a good look for their high gun, Ramon. Very no sense of momentum whatsoever, as Repulsive is going to be looking towards it. Wes on the ready with the recon bolt. As he throws it out, and execute is dealt on towards the side. Aeonix, however, already making his way on the back. As Gelson and Fission able to take down Repulsive and Kevzi. Gelson takes out Wes, and it's all up to Aeonix for the heroics once again. Classic gonna be found. Tries to switch to the Vandal, but Fission is there with a 3K. And he goes nuclear on that round.
It's just pure confidence for DLSU. And not just that, it is discipline at the end of the day. Something that we were kind of looking out for from the run in Campus Rivals, were the amount of mistakes they've been doing with the over peaks, with the early peaks. This time, they're preventing Ember Phoenix from taking the space early on, waste the amount of seconds, waste the amount of minutes that they need to do in order to take the space on down. They push in towards that main position. Once Kevsi, or excuse me, once Sekre has the opportunity, once he knows about the info, does his best to try to waste the amount of seconds that Ember Phoenix can use. Themselves that map control. This time it will be that 2-3 split. Ember Phoenix looking to split up the B site.
Paranoia gonna be on the ready here, gonna be able to shoot. That is Shintaro is able to take down Gelson, and now trapped in towards main. Tomix tries to get a kill, but Wes is there for the trade. Positioning is absolutely stellar, but now it is gonna be a 2v4 as Kevzi is able to get that res on Repulsive. Gonna be able to lock down that site easily here for the side of Ember Phoenix.
I don't think Sekre is close to anybody to resurrect them back up. They were aggressive in the right to push down B main. This will give an advantage for Ember Phoenix, but never count out Fission and Sekre.
Looking for it, Vision spots one down, but it looks like the crossfire is unbelievable here for Aeonix and Wes. Ember Phoenix finding the footing that they need, and it's all up to the Wonder Kid. Sekre spots one, gets the information on both. Slow orb gonna be thrown out here for Aeonix, and he leaves that 1v1 up on towards with Repulsive. Looking for a swing here, repositions really well, as Aeonix is gonna be stuck in a 1v1 situation with Sekre. Looks for it, as the Wonder Kid does it! Ladies and gentlemen, the retake was absolutely stellar! With Sekre on the helm, he is there for the Archers. Ladies and gentlemen, Green Aces ace the competition, and we're up 7-0.
Not the best scenario for Ember Phoenix to get isolated by Fission and Lucas. He himself has grown into the player that he is. Pushes it into the 1v3. Steadfast in the push onto Repulsive, and as he finds out where Aeonix is, it was a decisive peek on towards the triple kill. What a performance from the young gun. Way back then when he was the newcomer on DLSU. And now he has grown into the player that he is. 7-0, an integral part to the success for DLSU. The push on in, they know that Ember Phoenix are not going to be happy with this. The push on in from Aeonix, as he wants to deal some pressure on the mid side.
Aldrone gonna be coming out here, gonna get that information, but Aeonix slips past it. But Tomix is gonna be expecting this, as they are still holding this angle and up and down sort of scenario here. As the smokes are going to be coming out, the shot going to be found here for Aeonix as Tomix is falling down. Fission, however, gets expected. Aeonix coming up with the numbers that he needs. Dekre, however, looks forward and is able to put the stop to the bleeding and gets one more. Gets one back with the res. Puts the numbers advantage back in towards DLSU's favor, but now they have made their way on towards A site with Repulsive playing really close on CT.
Too many eyes over at that mid side gives the opportunity for Ember Phoenix. Repulsive's waiting to swing out. He knows that DLSU are aware about the A rotation, especially now with the neural theft.
Atomics, 100 HP, no shield left. Overdrive gonna get thrown out. Repulsive not gonna be able to find it as Gelson and Atomics put a bloodbath on it. Shintaro, all that's left, putting up the pedal to the metal as the showstopper is put up. Paint shells on the ready, 45 HP, looks for a spray down, one bullet left and it takes him down. No gun found, and DLSU is on a streak, not stopping anytime soon.
Almost like the Undertaker is alive and well around WrestleMania season. DLSU putting up the numbers despite Aeonix's heroics on the mid side. Sekre, he was the angel of death. And even resurrects one of his fallen comrades on the mid side. That makes it a lot easier for DLSU to respond on the A push. And Shintaro, man, I mean, we've seen heroics come out from him in the last time we've seen him play on Sunset, but DLSU, just from the resurrection, had all the numbers to check with Tomix, but it almost was a bucket to the face, but Tomix, he rises to the occasion, makes it a double for DLSU.
Rookie plays made, but these rookie plays are of an MVP, as he will be able to secure both kills as Banunu and Sekre close things out, and that round, in a blink of an eye, blink and you'll miss it, as DLSU take a 9th round against Ember Phoenix.
Shades of the dynasty that we've expected from DLSU. The reign of terror over Collegiate. And finally, the belly of the beast shows themselves into the 9-0. Sekre is on another level right now. And if you also inject that type of energy, that confidence into the newcomer that is Tomix, this is a DLSU that everybody is gonna get scared about, not only in the collegiate scene, but in the Predator League landscape.
As we hold it, Repulsive is going to be on top of that A main position. Owl Drone going to get thrown out. As the game goes quiet, Ember Phoenix is playing this really slow, but he doesn't expect this as Repulsive gets spotted. A spray down is found. 30 HP left, but Tomix is there for the trade. Great reactions coming from DLSU, but now the game has gone quiet once again.
They needed some sort of disruptor. And the best that they got was a kill on Sekre. But the bad news is they gave away Repulsive's life. This guy is somebody that you want to deny with the long angles. The smokes on Boba is not going to be possible. The one-way is not going to be found anymore. At least they got the neural theft from Aeonix, so they know that Tomix is around the area. And they know that he's the lone member on site as well, so they forced the rotation.
There it is, set up on towards it. Just playing this very slowly still, as they haven't gotten momentum. Forces of DLSU already stood up and steadfast in holding a site. As we can see, Gelson and Tomix are looking for these kills. Space being taken, but it looks like a fast rotate is called here by the side of Ember Phoenix.
This was too obvious. They knew that everybody from DLSU was going to run onto the side where they have shown their true presence. So they rotate to the other side, now fighting up against the only util that they got in Banunu with the tripwire. But Aeonix is still lurking around the shadows. Those are two things that they need to account for.
Make them believe as a shot is going to be connecting here. Aeonix not going to be able to find that 180 as Shintaro is able to take down Banunu. Looking to heat up here in this round. Shintaro able to find a kill as it is going to be a 3v3. Heal going to be used up here by Kevs. Keep his team alive. Gelson, however, gets spotted out and a drone is ready. Hunter's Fury as well. No tag found. As a reposition here by Ember Phoenix is making this look like it's alive, ladies and gentlemen. A shot going to be connecting here for Kevzy, and it's all up to Fission, and no heroics found for the DLSU squad this time. As Ember Phoenix make the right call. DLSU gets faked out and got the Hezi on them. As that
Can't
neural
take down
theft.
the archers.
Yeah.
Can't take down Ember Phoenix 10 times in a row. Definitely not something that we expected, but this was also up of them reacting to the heroics from DLSU. At least now they're trying a little bit more different things. The early wall set up by Sekre, countered by Repulsive in his movement, and still, because they kind of accounted for the rotation always on the A side, they used that kind of conditioning to gamble onto the stack of that B. Good thing Banunu was just going to give the side away. Gives them enough time and space to kind of conquer that B site for free. 9-1, at least now some damage done for Ember Phoenix. They know that the B site was going to be the call. Guelson Looking a little dangerous on that B main spot. He has to check the angle.
There it is. Performance being shown here by DLSU, holding steadfast, coming off of that round they had, playing a little bit slowly. But Secret does take note of this. He has that audio cue against Aeonix. It just boils down to the better barrel, as Aeonix is going to be clearing every single angle. Repulsive gets a kill on Gelson on the other side of the map.
That's going to be problems for their defense. That's going to be a one-way gun. That's going to be the elbow position. Not going to be checked at all. Banunu with his presence just finds Repulsive. They trade smokers for smokers, but they never realize that Ember Phoenix has already creeped up. Look at Aeonix already on the alley position. If both players don't check that side of the map, this might be a double kill for him in the making. Might be a triple, in fact, as well.
Might be a triple, yeah, but I don't think Sekre expects this. As Fission is going to be with his knife out.
No
spots
way!
1, spots 2, spots 3! Banunu can save the day, but it's a 1v3 situation. As Wes is there. The prowl and pounce as DLSU takedown gets taken down by the Ember Phoenix.
Last round in the half.
A great
Power
read
of the
coming in
mid-side
there.
take. The power of the mid-side take for Ember Phoenix. I mean, they made their presence known already on that B site, and Banunu just needed to hold on to that B main position. But once they had all their faces checked on that mid position, dun lang sila nakatingin. And they never accounted for that elbow position. Aeonix had full real estate papunta doon sa may alley, rotate papuntang spawn, at nagulat na lang na bumagsak bigla ang tatlong players ng DLSU. All the pillars for the Green School knocked down to the ground. 9-2 DLSU, giving 2 rounds away to Ember Phoenix. This time on the attack, the slow approach has been working. As now Tomix has to hit the shot, does not count for it. Loses a bit of chip damage as well. So bibigay na lang nila yung B main angle, not knowing that Ember Phoenix is prepared for that mid-side take once again.
Attack going to be found here on towards Aeonix, but nothing more. As a one-way smoke is going to be put up as Fission is trying to deal any sort of damage.
Oh, they lose the
Tripwire
one-way.
going to be broken. As Fission is going to be forced to look for a kill, but Aeonix is faster on the trigger. Now, that falls a retake potential here for the side of your boys at DLSU, looking for a swing. Repulsive spots 1. And now, Sekre, all that's left, having to check 2 angles. Wall gonna be thrown up here, but it looks like it is gonna be a full rush on towards it as Sekre is looking for a kill. Gets Shintaro out of the picture, but Repulsive is just faster and better on the positioning as Tomix with 66 HP and an operator can't do squat.
Planted.
It's picks all over the map, and finally Ember Phoenix feels comfortable in the slow pace. It is another triple kill for Repulsive, as he knows that the rotating Tomix
Switching sides.
had a bit of a disadvantage to work against him. 9-3 DLSU had the lead, but it is hot from Ember Phoenix. 3 rounds in a row. The Comet speaks for itself. It is winnable for Ember Phoenix.
Player standing.
They have done these comebacks before, but DLSU have built up one heck of a foundation leading up into this second half. A solo hold from Kevzi. The position he makes has to be of the utmost value. If he wants to peak this aggressively, he has to take at least 2. But otherwise, he just has to run away and play for retake. This has too many people to account for against DLSU.
Well, Util gonna get thrown out, and Kevzi expects this as a wall is gonna be put up. No break on the wall just yet, and it looks like it is gonna be a full force of DLSU going up against the hold of Kevzi. Kevzi gonna be repositioning here on towards elbow and looking for a shot to connect through the smoke. But right now, beautiful positioning on the smokes here from Gelson. Or from Repulsive, rather, as they have already moved on towards site.
They have a double flank set up. Tomix getting a lot of damage done over to one of the anchors. They have to realize that majority of these Ember Phoenix players have been cooking up the flank, but they're all just separated, so they have to take care of Kevzi first.
Kevzi runs out of bullets as Banunu spots Wes and Kevzi out of the picture. Shintaro takes down Banunu, and now it's a 3v3 on the pistols. Shintaro and Aeonix come out on top, as it is gonna be Ember Phoenix flooding the kill feed, winning out that pistol.
Thanks.
And DLSU, the nightmare that is Ember Phoenix, is starting to ensue once again, as this is how they started their comeback in the last time they faced off against each other.
Absolutely. Isn't this a little bit more familiar with how we've been seeing this matchup unfold. The last time that they played Sunset Games, this was one hell of a comeback made by Olfu. Back when Eusebio wasn't on the roster as well, DLSU had the open advantage 9-3. Now, they needed the pistol round. Olfu take full control of it after fully knowing that it was going to be Kevzi all alone on the site. They fully isolated the alley player just off of that as well. They need confidence. They need this momentum to possibly build up a comeback. 4-9. Aeonix now has full info. Calls the rotation back onto the B site. That's 4 people from DLSU priming up for an eco round push on the B.
There it is. It is going to be very difficult for them, as it is going to be put a stop to the push of the side of your boys at DLSU. Buys are going to be on the side of Ember Phoenix, as this is going to be very dangerous if they do decide to go up against the barrels of Aeonix, Shintaro, and Repulsive.
At the same time, they realize that the risk is too high if they want to take that B site push. So at the very least, they need to take care of the crossfire itself. And they do have the Sova posted up just to destroy it with a shock dart on the tripwire. This has to be absolute. They need to take the picks.
As of the moment, though, game is still very quiet. They're looking to play this slowly. They're taking their sweet time, possibly to plan the next push, but it looks like it is going to be a landing on towards it. That's a mow down of bullets. Going to be raining down from Shintaro, as Gelson is going to be forced to push out. A 3K found. And it's a bloodbath here for the side of Ember Phoenix, as DLSU scatters. Gonna be able to find it. Looks like it is gonna be Secret to win out that fight against West. Bulldog not gonna be able to find his mark, as Ember Phoenix is looking to run it down and chase down the DLSU squad.
A Hail Mary blessing given to them was an open A site after a fast rotate from Ember Phoenix. But off of this push, they aren't able to get any gun upgrades. It's just gonna be the Sheriff in hand for Sekre, the higher HP member, and Banunu separated from the pack as well.
Looking for it, however.
One enemy
Shot is
remaining.
going to be found on Sekre, and it is just going to be a mow down of bullets. 1v2, Banunu, low on HP. Shot going to be connecting, but Repulsive is already sticking it. Dealing a lot of damage here for the side of DLSU, as Banunu and Sekre make things possible. A plant, multiple casualties found. And it is still alive here, and the ball is now in the court of DLSU.
We already kind of expected the win out of the sales of Ember Phoenix anyway, but that was the best case that DLSU were gonna get. At the end of the day, 4 kills,
Spike down B.
a few ult orbs going to the Sage as well. And the plant means additional money, additional ult orbs, at least kills off the back of these pocket kills. Excuse me, the pocket sheriffs in hand for the side of DLSU. Full buys across the board now on the attack. Looking much more comfortable in how they're going to aggress this. But Ember Phoenix, they want to try to go for this. Tomix with a spray, and Tomix gets a double kill. That already knocks down the 2 sentinels, or at least the 2 anchors they got on the site. Shintaro has to go back, playing on that backside position. DLSU even has the option to rotate to A, but it looks like they want to fight this.
Ember Phoenix getting a little too over-aggressive there, and DLSU with the spearhead of Tomix gonna be abusing that positioning from him, as the drone and the neural theft is gonna be thrown out, forcing Shintaro to fall backwards. Very spread out the resources here of the side of Ember Phoenix, as they are low on the buy. Vision, however, is able to get that plant, and Shintaro is there to look for those kills.
It's a slow approach now, forced onto Phoenix. Because now they need their Sova to get the info, to get themselves at least an additional gun to work through this. Posted up on the angle, Tomix just has to win the first gunfight. It's a case sealed down if he does. Triple for Tomix.
Paranoia gonna get thrown out. Adjustment not found. The Shintaro is able to take the kill and put up his showstopper ultimate. Gun upgrade found here for the head duelist of your boys at Ember Phoenix. Cage gonna be the one splitting them apart, as they're looking to look for exit frags here, as DLSU
One enemy remaining.
is going to be coming out on top of this, as Gelson takes out Shintaro. West looking to die to the spike, as he's going to be looking for that defuse, trying to get it down. Shot to connect for Sekre, but it looks like Sekre is going to be the one dying to the spike. An eye for an eye, as they say, as DLSU reach double digits. Looking like they are trying to take the reins away from your boys at All-Fu Ember Phoenix
Just trying
in this
to
fight.
kill off some momentum. At the very least will be the objective. Ember Phoenix looking like they want to seal this out. The DLSU, they have the guns, they had a better weaponry. Fully converting down to a 10-5, double digits for DLSU. Fully confident in taking the B main aggress. Tomix with those 2 kills that he got. He needed that just so he can remind himself that he is fully capable of taking it against Ember Phoenix right now. They have to be careful about Ionix. This is a judge. Close range through the smoke as well. If they need to kill the B main aggression, then this has to be clear and precise timing from Ionix and the rest of the pack from Ember Phoenix on B.
And this is just scary here coming from the side of your boys at DLSU. They've found their rhythm as the march, the drums of liberation are going to be moved towards the B site. Poised and ready as Banunu locks down the flank, not giving any space to any of the players here from Ember Phoenix as they are just looking for the timing. Ionix holding with the judge as they ready their push here for towards B site.
I've seen the situation before where teams don't check the corner and they are surprised by a judge on the other side of it. They're not making any presence anywhere else on the map. So because of the initial info that they got from DLSU, they know it's still B main.
And there it is, information gathered. They know that the judge is there, but Shintaro with an op, very dangerous here. Tomix lives by the life of his thread here. As it is going to be a showstopper to take out and move them out of that position. Rocket Fuse dwindling as he is looking to shoot the corner, but no players found as a re-hit towards B is going to be called. Shintaro, however, gets a kill on towards Gelson. 10 seconds left, and they're going to have to force this as they fall into the meat grinder, also known as Ember Phoenix, and it is going to be a 1v3, but they're not giving out any more chances here as Ember Phoenix take the final kill on Tomix and take another round on their belts. 10-6, ladies and gentlemen. Another lifeline taken here by Ember Phoenix.
I mean, it's all working out. Beautifully done for Ember Phoenix. The patience, the awareness, knowing that DLSU weren't trying to do anything different at all. They already made the initial info. And they weren't giving anything else or to any other sides of the map. So Ember Phoenix just needed to wait. They just needed to trust into the B main investment that DLSU had. They never needed the judge from Ionix in the first place. If Repulsive himself, if everybody else on the side, Shintaro even posted up on the angle for the longest time. He was like a thief in the night. It was a good game plan for DLSU to surprise them sana, pero wala eh. When everybody else is posted up on the right angle, it's just as easy as just pointing the heads when they come into the site.
But that is just difficult for them as well, considering how Ember Phoenix, they've been performing well, but this is a different face than what we've seen. But as of the moment, in these later parts of this game, Ember Phoenix is starting to get their footing back. Shintaro being on that operator, just using it as a crutch to get his momentum back. This is something that DLSU should be scared about, considering on how Ember Phoenix has been performing throughout this tournament. And I'm pretty sure if they get a foothold on this game and Shintaro activates, it's going to be very difficult for DLSU to live their nightmares once again.
How poetic is it that two of the collegiate teams that have won off of comebacks, one of them is on their way to make another one. Shintaro gets the shot on Banunu. That will be the lurker, the sentinel down for DLSU. Also one of their stable forces when it comes to the guns. 4 versus 5. They hear the info from the ult orb from a main as well. DLSU have to approach this slowly and calmly. They're already down a man, and they also need to watch their flanks later on. The option is open for Phoenix.
Aggressive smoke here going to be put out here by Gelson. And now it looks as though they are going to be looking for a rotate here, guys. As DLSU is not confident in looking for a push here, especially with Kebzi and Shintaro holding down the site with an op and a Guardian.
It's a classic strategy that you would expect from two Sentinels. Stable force on B. And then you still have the Sage Wall on the A side. You don't know if there's somebody holding the left or the right corner. DLSU don't even have the opportunity to check. So They're gonna go back, reset Banunu with the resurrection. 30 seconds, they have to make the decision now. Will it be over to the B site or will it be on A? Tomix has been holding this position, calling for his troops to come back into possibly a retake scenario for Phoenix.
Smokes are going to be put down here as it is going to be an overdrive called by the side of DLSU. 15 seconds left on the clock as they've already made their way on towards the site. Going to be shot down though as Banunu falls with Wes's Guardian and he's looking for it. Guys, the spike is going to go down with 4 seconds left as Gelson is able to take down Wes from his perch with only 0.milliseconds. The spike is down and the attack is turned on towards the side of Ember Phoenix as a wide swing is found. Gelson, the failsafe, able to secure a kill. Shintaro trying to force a fight in towards CT from Repulsive as Tomix finds a right click, looks for it. Repulsive has an op in his head, but Tomix is able to secure a kill with a Phantom. And now it's a 2v1. Kevzi, the only man that's left, 150 HP, could turn this around with just one kill. 1v2 situation, Hunter's Fury on the ready. There's nothing you can really do as Gelson is there with a 3k. Proving us wrong time and time again. The clutch meister of DLSU. As they march on forward, Animo Lasal ang ika nga nila. Ember Phoenix looking shaky here, especially coming off from this really short bye. What a game being shown by DLSU.
The trust that they had to commit into the 5-man push after the resurrection. Bumalik sa A site. Dahil ang tagal na ni Tomix na naka-invest dun sa position na yun. They were on the low buy, but the overdrive opened up the window for the push. Hayside call yet again for DLSU. They want to double dip into this. They know that they have the eco round. Shintaro has to post up with the angle. He has to go huge with this 3-man stack that Ember Phoenix has cooking on the A site.
But it is an Al drone going to be thrown out here as they tag up onto West. They are going to be facing 3 players here from the side of Ember Phoenix if they do decide to commit this, as Aeonix is there. Stellar on the Sheriff as a neural theft is going to get called. And information is all for the taking here for the side of Ember Phoenix.
That's the second time that they have taken care of Banunu on the lurk itself. As Aeonix has now upgraded into a Vandal, this guy has been precise all throughout the Sunset game and now giving him the opportunity to flank while DLSU is hesitating. This is the time they need to pull the trigger.
West, however, going to get caught out as Fission gets a kill with the Hunter's Fury. Kevzi, however, going to be holding the site as Repulsive takes down Gelson. Fission gets a trade. Kevzi there, but Sekre is there to take down Shintaro and Kevzi, and it's all up to Aeonix. Are they going to expect this? 85 HP, a Vandal in a Dream. Sekre holds it and brings us to match point. As DLSU march on forward, the Aces secure match point.
One more step to take down their fellow collegiate brethren. And it's unfortunate for Aeonix because the one pick that they had meant squat for them. When DLSU were able to hold strong in their push, they have the better guns yet again. Sekre with his spray down possibly has been writing the death note for Ember Phoenix this time around. 12-6, one more step. And Ember Phoenix are grasping on straws. They have 2 people possibly crushing down over towards that mid push. An angle for Kebzi established. This is again for the one-way that Ember Phoenix have been playing for the past few rounds now, but to no avail.
As it is going to be an angle found here by Kevzi. Very dangerous here for LaSalle if they don't take note of this, as this is something that a shot is going to be found on Fission. That is going to be an angle going to be taken there from the side of Ember Phoenix, as that is the IGL down.
They take it as slowly as ever. The wall is still up, so that elbow position is not going to be the entrance that they're going to be looking for until now, where they have access to it. 4 versus 5, 50 seconds. They are aware of Banunu. They kill off KevZ because of the peak, so this will be that 4v4. 45 seconds.
Shintaro.
The choice is made and the shot is heard for Shintaro. He is picture perfect on the decision to peek. But Repulsive, he gets the perfect timing to rotate on A.
Oh, wait a second, Repulsive looks for that shot, and the cancel was just absolutely stellar. Banunu thought he could slip past, but now it's a 2v4, 20 seconds left on the clock. Shintaro looking for an angle here. Gelson gonna be met up with it, not gonna be hitting the shot as Gelson stays alive. Teleport back on towards site. Tomix looking for it as the smoke is down. 10 seconds left on the clock. DLSU has been performing these types of plays where they play it to the last second. And now Ember Phoenix has a pincer technique here on towards the site.
A lot of people around the site. They have one on the elbow position, but DLSU is fighting them.
Last player standing.
Looks for it as Tomix, the rookie, looking to make things possible as Wes. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, but he has a lot of tricks up his sleeve, ladies and gentlemen, as Wes brings it towards the direction of Ember Phoenix. As they keep themselves alive, no room for mistakes for both of these teams. But Ember Phoenix steals the show once again when the going gets tough. As
Just when you
Kevzi,
thought the line was about to get flat for the side of Ember Phoenix, they took another page out of the DLSU playbook, surprising them with the OT. Repulsive, completely baiting out Ionix on the lurk,
Last player standing.
just to set them up into the A rotate. Wes was able to pick them off one by one just because of the hesitation from both Wilson and Tomix. 12-7. Now off of the reset, DLSU needs to take something out of this. A low buy for both Vision and Banunu. They will have to make through with this B main rush that they're setting up for themselves against Ionix and the forces of Ember Phoenix.
and this is what I'm telling you, this scoreline is the same scoreline we saw the last time they faced off each other at Campus Rivals. 12-7. Coming off from that ace from Fission on Yoru to now having Tomix failing that clutch in a 12-7. Will the ending of the story be the same? Will the Phoenix rise from the ashes, or will the Archers strike them down? That is the question.
They don't have a trip to account for around that B main position. It is only on committed angles. This won't work out for at least stopping them within the tracks on B main, but this will counter any over-aggress from DLSU if they take both backside and as well as the market side.
But smokes are going to get thrown out, and that is information all for the taking. Paranoia going to be used for the side of Ember Phoenix a little too early, but now they
30
retake
seconds
and they
left.
use this time to make a push. Fastlane going to be casted here by Tomix as Ionix is going to be posted up on a position where Tomix is able to take him out clearly. Repulsive, however, with a trade. Secret takes note of this, gets two. West with a
Repulsive!
kill, looking for it. Not going to be enough as the slow from Kevzi supports the kill, and it's all up to the captain. But what can you do in this scenario with 10 seconds left? Boombot going to get thrown out, forcing the plant. And now it is going to be a forced push here for the side of Kevzi, and it is going to be another round for the Phoenix. DLSU look shaky, ladies and gentlemen, as they choke another round under their belts, forcing them to go for an eco,
Spike down B.
courtesy of Ember Phoenix.
Faltering at the final hurdle. Getting stomped on the way in towards the B site. Thanks to the position from Repulsive just before the smoke dissipates. He gets a perfect timing on both the planter as well as the third player coming in towards the site. Letting Fission, the one who was giving the team the info from the drone, the last man to come in. An opportunity to shine on the clutch, but he only had the Spectre. And not a lot of time to plant the spike on down. It was down to the last 5 seconds. And he needed to make that call. Unfortunately, Kevzi was just that close. This is a dire situation for both of these teams, but you can never underestimate the Ember Phoenix roster, known for comebacks and known to rise from the ashes. What is this angle from the stage? It just took me out completely.
Nagulat ako dun. Was right up on his face. Kanino sage yun? Kay Sek, di ba? Kay Kevzi. Sinong sage yun?
Sinohanan, boss.
Alright, I guess that takes off a little bit of the pressure off of the game.
Yeah.
But as we say that, ladies and gentlemen, we head straight back into the mayhem that is this match. One collegiate team coming out of the live. Phoenix on the rise, and DLSU looking to close things out with an early frag here on towards Shintaro, forcing him off his angle as the overdrive is going to get casted. Repositioning himself with Ionix on the site. Showstopper on the ready, looking for information, gonna shoot the shot, and it looks like he is not gonna be able to find it as Shintaro pops off! Sekre gonna be able to get the trade. Gelson gets cut off here with the paint shells of Shintaro. Looks for a shot through the smoke as Ionix gets the drop. Looking for a shot to connect. Fission is there for the trade. But now it's a 2v3. West with the failsafe. Gelson on the move, but cannot find it as it is 12-9. As Ember Phoenix reminding DLSU on where they were showing them that this is a repeat of their performance. It's up to DLSU now to change that pace.
The human highlight reel does it again. Shintaro on the entry, denying everybody from DLSU to come in thanks to his aggressiveness even though he was on the up, fully clearing the default plant. Realizing that the forces from Market are still present, uses a shotgun, close range. Everybody else from Ember Phoenix just coming down at the best possible moment. 12-9, Ember Phoenix coming up alive in a moment where they need to. They all have the full buy. They also have info on the lurk on B main this time. But DLSU, they're none the wiser to the B push. They are going to want to aggress on that A site. Hunter's Fury established by Fission. He wants to take the fight to Repulsive as he already TPs down onto Ali. This puts him at a safe spot to counter the elbow spot from DLSU.
But it is going to be a calm down. DLSU really wants to look to end this now, considering that they have the buy on their hands. 2 light shields coming from the side of DLSU as a one-way smoke is casted here. Posted up, looking to defend A site. Cage going to be thrown out here by Banunu. But it isn't going to sway the defense of your boys here at Ember Phoenix. 40 seconds left on the clock, and they're playing this like Fnatic.
Exactly. They don't need to over-aggress this time. They know that if they push, it's at risk of the crossfire over from the big box as well as Ali.
30 seconds
Fully knowing
left.
that Repulsive's here, they don't want to be at the other end of the paranoia. Banunu has to get the right shot, but Aeonix fully aware of the position now. B main split, as well as the Market side. DLSU, they want to fight for this.
Operator not going to connect here for Shintaro as he is able to reposition himself. 12 seconds left on the clock as the plant is going to be going down. Aeonix holding the drop here. Shintaro spots a kill on Banunu, and that is man advantage. Easier retake here as Gelson spots out this double ganger, but it looks like it is going to be a res here for Sekre. Shintaro takes down Tomix as Aeonix is posted out, tries to get a kill. Fission able to get that secured kill here. Gelson with Shintaro out of the picture, brings it to a 2v2. And now, it is going to be Sekre. This might be it, folks. Wes, all that's left. How poetic. The captain looking to make things possible as DLSU take that win. Reclaiming their throne, taking that W, and taking it home. Ladies and gentlemen, proving themselves as the kings of collegiate. DLSU take this game and eliminate Orfu Ember Phoenix.
Revenge is best served cold. And it was cold from DLSU, who have shown much resilience coming through on what could possibly have been the comeback for Ember Phoenix. The push onto the Market side that they have attempted for the second time. And finally, it was the second time that was the charm from them after beautiful trades after trades. And the good thing, no, meron pa rin silang resurrection para okay lang na mamatay sila on the initial aggress. They still have some time to reset back in. Well played force for the Ember Phoenix side when they were on the second half. Pero nung nagtagal, talagang mas lalong naramdaman yung init ng DLSU based off of the fact that they had the lead to begin with.
I agree with you on that one, but right now, before anything I say, I just want to apologize to the rest of the DLSU community. I had no doubts whatsoever, but here's the thing. I was basing it off of stats, okay? So you can't get mad at me. But GG, well played. Nothing less expected from the Kings of Collegiate. They had the support from their coaching staff, and honestly, they played stellar Valorant, and it shows how much this team has evolved from campus rivals, from choking that 12-7 lead to now being able to beat the demons of their past. They have reclaimed their throne, and hey, they have followed the prophecy as it is written in the stars right behind us, ladies and gentlemen. That is a constellation of a bow and arrow, and the bow and arrow holders, the archers, they deliver today, and it was absolute cinema being displayed here. Congratulations to the DLSU Green Aces as we bid farewell to Ember Phoenix as they weren't able to rise to the occasion this time, with Shintaro, Kevzi, Wes, Aeonix, and Repulsive gonna be saying goodbye to the slot in the playoffs here for Predator League Philippine qualifiers.
Yeah, and that also puts the players on DLSU now at playoffs form. This is their win, and this is putting them at 2-1 in our Swiss system, meaning that they'll be joining the Oasis Gaming roster as well as Sipto Esports to actually get themselves the opportunity to claim the crown over at the Philippine qualifiers of PL26. which honestly is the second time that they're gonna be doing it back-to-back years, which is honestly really, I've been proud of these guys. So much development from how they were on the last year's PL, where they don't have Javi 8K anymore. Now they're relying upon their own stars, their own homegrown talent. All their investment into Tomix, who actually did a really good job of being the showstopper for this team alone. But it's not just a one-man team this time around. It's not just one man carrying the show. It's everybody pulling out their own weight at this point, which makes this victory all the more sweeter against a team that literally put an end to their dynasty from last year's event at Campus Rivals.
Absolutely, and just remnants of this roster being able to support them and bring them up towards where they can. They really put their best foot forward in putting out all the stops in creating the roster that they have right now, with Tomix on the helm of the Duelist, Sekre evolving as a character, evolving as a player in the way that he plays the game, removing himself from that Duelist role and just really expanding his agent pool, having that Sage, having the smokes on the ready, and Fission really stepping up to the plate. Once Javi 8K stepped down from this roster as the IGL, he became that rock and that driving force for the team to really guide them throughout the whole roster. Not to mention Gelson being the clutch when they needed it the most. I mean, this guy was stellar. And lastly, I want to talk about Banunu in his way of performance. I mean, yes, kanina pa siya nakukuha dito ng mga tao in the lurk. But if you think about it, with the way that he was playing, he was giving a lot of information on the team, and that's what makes him a stellar player. And honestly, every player of this DLSU squad was crucial in getting this win and securing their playoff slot. But not to mention the performance of each and every individual. It's not to be messed with. And for all the players, all the teams that will be heading up into this playoffs bracket, you better watch out, because this DLSU squad is something to be scared of. Be afraid, as they are locked, loaded, and ready to go up against you guys.
Strong words from a man who just predicted against them, but it's okay, because I know what the plan was. I knew that it was going to be a jinx at the end of it, and the jinx worked in fact, man. I mean, this was DLSU at a form that we were looking from them. We were expecting this from day one, but it took a bit of time. It took a lot of pressure for these diamonds to actually shape up for themselves, and finally shine all throughout the server. I mean, I already mentioned the players themselves. I'm most impressed about Sekre and his development. I mean, coming off of a rough start, not only right here in the Green Aces, but as well as their run all the way into Team Secret Academy from Sekre as well. He needed some sort of redemption arc for him to prove that he's not only a one-trick duelist, he's not only a young kid anymore. He's developed into a talent that everybody can rely on. Very well said. He was an integral part into taking down the Kingslayers themselves. The dynasty is not established yet, but this is an opportunity for them to rebuild and refocus. So congratulations to DLSU Green Aces. The scoreboard speaks for themselves on who made the most amount of difference. Tomix, Sekre, both heralding 21 kills each for their own respective right. It was one heck of a performance that we've seen from two of these young guns, taking it to experienced players not only in collegiate but as well as the whole pro scene of Valorant in its landscape. Yung mga names na nakikita mo, Shintaro, Repulsive, as well as Kevs, etong mga taong to, nakikita niya sa VCT yan, pero kaya din nilang makipagsabayan sa mga tao dito.
Absolutely. And not to mention, I want to focus a little bit on Olfu Ember Phoenix. Although they did fall and get eliminated from this tournament, I just want to give a big shout out to Aeonix, as this guy has improved throughout the tournament. I mean, earlier into it, he was performing very, very low, but now he was one of the players that actually stood up for the team. But now let's focus on DLSU Green Aces as we move to the MVP of this team. Ladies and gentlemen, give a round of applause. Once again, the rookie makes his debut on the squad, as Tomix, with an average combat score of 274 with 21, 21, and 4. Couldn't make it a triple-double, but nonetheless, this guy was an integral part and the spearhead for DLSU to pierce the veil that Olfu Ember Phoenix put up against them this whole time. And now they have come into fruition and made their way on towards the playoffs bracket. Ramon, what else do you have to say to this team, man?
I mean, what heck of a run For the side of DLSU, so far they didn't have the best of starts in the Swiss stage. They now have their eyes set on that playoffs contention. They're at that 2-1 stage where they are qualified for the playoffs now. So all the possible matchups, I'm already excited for them. They're possibly going to contend against Sipto or Oasis Gaming, or maybe just one of the players that we're going to be seeing down in towards the last game of the day. So I'm very much excited to see how they will continue to develop not only as a collegiate team, but as well as a mainstay here in the Predator scene.
Yeah, they conquered the curve, and you can too with the use of the X34. Conquer the curve with the Predators X34's infinity widescreen as your new battleground. Dive into the abyss, wreak havoc, and claim victory just like what the DLSU Green Aces did as you get the competitive edge. This is available on all Predator Concept stores, authorized resellers, and the Acer online store.
Yeah, and if you want to master the game just like DLSU themselves, then look no further than the Predator X39 with an expansive display. Every war is an epic, and every frame is harmony in hertz. Plunge into the abyss, unleash your destructive power, and reshape reality with the Predator X39. You can get this now over at the Acer Predator Concept stores, at authorized resellers, as well as the Acer online store. Get yours now over at these stores just to get your very own X39 monitor.
Yep, ladies and gentlemen, that was one banger of a show match, but don't go anywhere as we have one more match. I'm excited for the next match. What is our next match, Ramon?
Of course, it's going to be the PH Rejects roster coming up against one of the more impressive players in our own rights. I'm so excited, Louis, that I actually forgot about this, but you know what? It's fine. We'll see them anyway later on, and I'm sure they're going to light up the server just for us right now.
Absolutely. This has been Bluey and Ramon, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you guys next time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to some more action, and we are down to the last match of today. It is going to be Kadiliman versus the PH Rejects. I'm Louis, and I'm joined with the most wonderful caster of all time, Mr. Ramon. Ramon, give us a quick sit rep of what happened last match.
Look, it was the revenge match for the ages for the collegiate scene as a whole. It was Olfu versus DLSU. The last time that they faced up on the same map of Sunset, it was Olfu that were coming out on top. So this was personal for DLSU. They take them down over at the first half. It looked a little bit shaky for them to close it out, but good thing it was the confidence from all the troops as Fission and the rest of the squad were able to close it out. It was a banger, considering that there were hero moments after hero moments coming out with both Shintaro and Repulsive, as well as Aeonix being the spearhead for the team on that first half, but it just wasn't enough.
Absolutely. As we bid farewell to Olfu, let us focus on the task at hand. It is going to be PH Rejects going up against Kadiliman as we head into their team profile, ladies and gentlemen. They are locked, loaded, and ready once again for our final match. This is the last stop of the train, folks. Who's going to be picked up and who's going to be brought home? That is going to be the question, as the team profile of the PH Rejects are here. And now is ready. Makita natin si Tuge, Georgie, Nexi, Skylar Vaughn. Just ready, locked and loaded here. Waldorio din. Smiles all across the board here, Ramon. And they're looking excited for this match.
They have to be. I mean, this is a team that was supposed to have the lowest amount of expectations, right? Considering that they are coming against the Orgless roster, that honestly, they don't have the resources. They are showing that the play was what matters the most, diba? Like, they're here to have fun, they're here to have vibes. Naglalaro sila na parang finals na, boy. Like, literally,
Absolutely.
from their first matches, they took it down with just the lowest amount of expectations, right? Pero grabe yung star power na naipakita nga ni Skylar Vaughn at saka din ni Nexi, who was the MVP from their first matches. Medyo nagkaroon ng stumble pagdating doon sa ating day 2 kung saan natalo pa sila. Pero ngayon, may chance sila para makapag-redeem ng sarili nila. Now that they're down into that 1-to-1 setup sa ating Swiss system, they need to win this next game in order to qualify for the playoffs. And of course, they're playing with the lowest amount of pressure kasi wala naman talaga sa kanilang nagpe-pressure para mapanalo nila to eh.
Absolutely, but as we move to the other end of this fight, it is going to be Team Kadiliman coming off of that wondrous win against the representatives of the Philippines in Tier 1. Team Secret falling to their hands as it is led by Dre, NDG, Borkum, Yur, and Yux going into this match. I'm excited to see what they have in store for us, considering on how they performed yesterday. I mean, in their first match in this whole group stage, in this Swiss stage rather, they were playing really, really badly, considering how they got stomped on, putting Borkum on the Phoenix. Very questionable takes on the roles, but then they brought themselves back up. And sabi naman dito ng buong Kadiliman, let's go, men! At tinalo nila ang kanilang mga Team Secret brethren.
Tama. I mean, you actually put it out correctly. It was the change in roles that actually made them a little bit more comfortable. You're on that smoker made a lot more sense considering it was one of his most played roles nga naman. Now you also have tong si Borkum. Now he's the one setting the tempo for the team. Usually we'd see him in Tier 1 play the smokes role, but now he's on that sentinel role where he's lurking around the shadows, providing openings for the team. And then you also have to consider na malakas nga din naman yung agimat ni Skylar Vaughn pagdating sa mga sitwasyon sa kung kailangan nga naman niyang lumaban no? Para sa PH Rejects. Pero KDM is not a force to mess with as well. Napakamaayos ang kanilang mga star players, pero kailangan nilang mag-lock in pagdating dito. Alam kong wala silang pressure, pero dapat seryosohin nilang laban na to, laban sa kanilang kalaban ngayon.
Absolutely. They have to unleash their peak gaming as they are able to do so if they have the Helios Neo 16S AI on their side. Unleash peak gaming speed and power with Predator Helios Neo 16S, giving performance that never compromises. Shop now at Acer Predator Online Shop, Acer Predator Shopee, Acer Predator Lazada, or at any resellers near you.
Yeah, don't forget about the Helios 18 as well. Step up and stand out and be ready for anything with the Helios 18. Shop now at your Acer Predator online shop, Acer Predator Shopee, as well as the Acer Predator Lazada, or at any resellers near you to get your own Helios 18 or Helios Neo 16 SAI.
And Grabe naman talaga yung pinapakitang labanan dito ng mga teams natin, but we are down to our last match of today, folks, as we are now here to see who will secure that final playoff slot in this tournament. Will it be the Rejects or will it be Kadaliman? Give us a reasoning as to why these players are gonna be winning on your side. Sa tingin mo ba, Ramon, sino ba ang mananalo dito sa matchup na to?
Napakahirap naman ang tanong na yan kasi medyo same lang din naman yung story nilang dalawa. These are both teams na not a lot of people would put on their minds as top 1, pero time and time again they're showing their own stride, their own style, at agad-agad nawawala na yung mga doubters dahil sa performance nila. Pero in my eyes, I would have to put KDM in the pedestal right now. 1-0 tayo dito ngayon on Ramon's end. I believe the forces of these new roles set up by Kadaliman is gonna be enough para lang magkaroon sila ng magandang pundasyon para maging stable yung pag-push nila dito sa mga sites natin. Ikaw ba, Bluey? What is your prediction?
I'm gonna have to refract from your decision. I'm gonna be going with the PH Rejects as, ayun nga, Kadaliman is actually very, very much a strong, formidable opponent. But in my opinion, PH Rejects just have that firepower, and I'm just excited to see what they have in store for us, considering that the firepower that they have, the experience that each individual has on this team, could very well be the difference maker in fighting this Kadaliman squad.
Yeah, and as I said, right, not only do they have the foundation from Workom as well as NDG, but you gotta look out for the flexible roles that they got. Yuxon the Smoker, si Dre pa rin maayos na duelist in his own right. I do believe that these are enough forces, as well as putting a lot more trust from the Team Secret win yesterday. Just gave me a lot more confidence to put in stock dito sa Kadaliman right now. So kaya ko sila pinapredict na mapapanalo ito, lalo na't may suporta din sila sa coach nilang si AKG, one of the more experienced coaches that we've had dito sa Fairtier League, kung saan medyo nangingibabaw yung mga rosters at saka yung mga teams na wala masyadong support from orgs, wala masyadong support from a coach itself. So it does give Kadaliman the edge over this. They have some sort of a 6-man on the chair talking things out, lalo na kapag may time out, lalo magiging maayos yung reflection nila sa kung paano nila i-approach yung ilang mga rounds dito. Pero yun lamang ay opinion ko, mga kababayan. May opportunity din kayong i-shout out kung sino sa tingin nyo ang mananalo dito sa comment section natin, kung KDM ba or PH Rejects ba. I-comment nyo lang, binabasa namin yan lahat para dito sa broadcast natin. Sure na sure akong makakapasok si Bluey sa Monday dahil lang sa nangyari kanina. Pero grabe naman, guys, napakasaya na nangyayari dito sa Philippine Qualifiers.
Yeah, we've been having so much fun here, but as of the moment, this is the last stop. I have to reiterate this once again. This is where the train stops, folks, and gets only one from these two teams to move forward into playoffs station. But right now, talking about both of these teams, I mean, stellar performances from each individual player coming in from both sides. But for you, since you did pick Kadaliman to win this fight, sino ang star player nila so far, Ramon?
Kadaliman has been playing off of, I guess, the core so far that has been working out pretty well from them. NDG, Borkom, I'd say Yura is also somewhat of a standout, but Dre surprised me the most, considering that this kid has been an unknown quantity in my eyes. No? Hindi para sa iba na syempre alam kong mas kilala si Dre on what he's capable of playing. Now on the duelist role, this is the first time I've seen him play, and he impressed me the most. In his conquest against Team Secret, siya yung mabilisan lang makapag-dash in, nakakuha ng duels against Sylvan, nakaka-pick off laban dito kay Jesse Vash. Siya yung nagiging spearhead, siya yung nangunguha sa mga sites, and usually, you would expect that the entry fragger was gonna be down for the count agad laban sa mga anchors nila, pero nakakapanalo siya 7 out of the 10 times that he has been doing that. So, talagang may pagiging standout itong si Dre para sa kanyang pagiging entry duelist role. Hindi nga tayo sure kung mag-entry duelist siya ngayon kasi Haven pa lang yung nakikita natin sa kanila. Yung roadmap medyo may pagkakaiba, pero dahil sa mga BO1 specials na nakikita natin dito sa Swiss system, we don't really have an opportunity to explore the whole map pool. So maybe there's a surprise for Kadaliman in this part.
Absolutely. And I have to agree with you on that one. I mean, talaga naman si Dre talaga ang nagbigay ng sanib puwersa para sa Kadaliman to go over that Team Secret squad. Kung iisipin mo kasi kung paano niya hinandle si Sylvan, no? Parang napa-welcome to Philippine Valorant si bossing mo Sylvan eh. Sabi niya,
Sylvan de los Santos.
Oh, si Sylvan de los Santos, parang nagulat siya, na culture shock siya with how the Philippines plays, and that's exactly what the type of talent is being showcased here in Predator League Philippine qualifiers. But as we say that, let's take a quick look and a little bit of a spotlight being shed on the PH Rejects. I mean, you have the given talents here by Wild Oreo and Tuge. But as for the moment, who I want to highlight rather dito on this team is si Nexi. Talaga namang napakalakas netong sentinel nila. Considering how he's able to hold those angles and take those spaces whenever they decide to leave them. Grabe talaga yung movement na ginagawa ni Nexi. If you think about it, in their game against Olfu, no, makikita mo na ina-avoid na lang nila Wes eh. They were just trying to avoid his sight because they know that they can't get him off his position. And what he does, when they do that, when they disengage from the site that he is holding, he decides to put the pressure even further towards them and make them lose a lot more space, forcing them to go into a site where the rest of the PH Reject squad is waiting for the enemies to fall into. And that's exactly what the type of Sentinel you want in this fight. And that's why Nexi is one of the picks here for me that will be stellar in this match against Kadiliman.
Yeah, which is honestly something that doesn't stray far away from what we expect from Nexi. For the longest time, this guy has been regarded as one of the best Sentinels dito sa Pilipinas and possibly a hidden gem right now, considering that he's been teamless for the longest time. He's been somebody without a roster, still active now in the big 2025. Back in his days over at Oasis Gaming, he's been proving his worth time and time again. Kahit nung Naos siya pa yung parang nasabi nating shining force sa forces ng Naos nung time na naglalaro pa siya sa roster na yon. Any roster that has Nexi is actually pretty lucky to have him dahil never mo siya makikita mag-tilt, never mo siya makikitang mahihirapan kapag ka naglalaro siya on the server. His mental's great, maganda yung comms niya na naririnig ko sa ilang mga teammates siya before. So it really is nice to see Nexi be performing ngayon in this roster of PH Rejects, proving to everybody na okay na magkalaro kayo ng mga friends nyo, magkalaro kayo ng mga tropa nyo. Considering pa rin, granted, na magkakasama lang sila sa isang roster before. So let's see if PH Rejects have the synergy up against this team of Kadiliman, who now established themselves on the Haven game for the second day in a row.
Absolutely, but now the squads have made their picks. We can see on the PH Reject side, they're going to be playing the Neon and the Yoru on the Duelist, as compared to Kadiliman having Yux on the Breach once again on this Haven map, and having NDG and Borkum not on the Duelist role this time, and putting Dre back on the helm as the spearhead for this squad. Ika nga ni Narpim, let's go men, as they head up against PH Rejects with the squad as Tuge, Nexi, Skylar Vaughn, Wild Oreo, and Georgie playing the meta on this map.
I like this kasi considering how they won against Team Secret, they don't need to change up anything. What worked for Kadiliman last time is what will work in their conquest to fight up against PH Rejects, who are playing the Mosquito comp that has been, I'd say, doctrinized by DRX with the Neon as well as the Yoru. Actually, parang ito yung Mosquito comp before pa nangyari si Waylay dun sa mapang yun, or some patch na ito.
Yeah, with
parang
the
you're
use,
relying upon the fast moving from Skylar Vaughn, the movement from him, plus Georgie on the TP. You're gonna be expecting a lot of works. You're gonna be expecting the Euro to be on all sides of the map. This is do or die for both of these teams, as the loser goes home, but the winner will have a chance at glory.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the last match of today. It is going to be PH Rejects versus Kadiliman. And let's see if the PH Rejects can take that last ticket into the playoff stage. As we can see, early contact here being given by the side of the Rejects as KDM holds steadfast. But it is going to be a call to pull out from that angle as Yor is able to get a kill off Georgie in towards the other end of the map.
Imagine this, right? This is going to be that reset needed for the side of Kadiliman. They knew that the C-long push was going to be coming. Good thing it was the old school jet that Dre has picked up for himself. Realizes that it was going to be the combo. The breach util plus the push coming in on that C-long control. And now from that awareness, good thing on the other side as well, Yor was able to pick off an aggressing opponent that was going to be Georgie on the A-short position. So this will be Kadiliman's time to strike. C-long, a focus from them. PH Rejects rotating all the way towards, from C all the way to A site to see if they can get a straggler. But Porkum has a full B site to play with. You can already use this amount of time to get some presence going, while the triple stack, the triple push from PH Rejects is already commencing away towards the T-spawn.
And I like this position being taken here by the Rejects.
left.
I mean, Borkum does take note of this as information is gathered as he holds steadfast. knows exactly the positioning of the rejects, as it is going to be Borkum to take that kill. They plan for CT, and that is the value taken from Borkum's positioning. Nexi, however, able to take him out, and he's looking for a second one, as he is going to be forced upon NDG, but the right click is going to be taking that kill.
Yep, that's going to be the 2 versus 4. And Yux on the backside. He has sprayed it down over to the side of Wild Oreos. All beating down to Skylar Vaughn. It will be another for NDG. Commencing the first round for KDM. Good discipline and good adjust over to the seed long push. Nets them the first pistol round.
And that is just impeccable timing there. I mean, Wild Oreo was able to get and secure that kill onto Borkum, but he wasn't able to get that information. He didn't know where he was posted up at. But then again, you had Nexi as the fail-safe. He was able to secure a few kills, but then again, NDG was there in that primed and ready position, as he was able to secure 2. Skylar Vaughn out of the picture, as well as his counterpart. And there it is, the first round taken and drawn by KDM.
Yeah, it's not every day that you see a push coming down from KDM, the smart push from them, realizing that they don't need to aggress a little bit too fast on that C long control. So now they're down into the passive default mid presence established, as well as a push coming down for Dre on that outlaw.
As it is going to be trench warfare all the way on the other ends of the map. PH Rejects decide to gamble a stack on towards C, but Dre is already making a lot of space here on towards the A site. As it is going to be a free up, we can see that the spacing is absolutely impeccable. And now,
Yep.
going to be moving in towards it, as the smokes are going to be going down.
Yep. When establishing full presence on A without any sight of PH Rejects, they fully gambled their stack on the C site position. Plant coming down gives them the full info that's already to the other side of the map.
And there it is. Just movement towards CT, looking to go for it. But it looks like it is a hold steadfast by KDM. No casualties left here, but it's completely held down by this Kadiliman squad as PH Rejects move in towards it. A shot gonna connect for Dre, and here it is.
Yep, outlaw established, so they know that CT is not going to be the best possible entry that they got for themselves. Smoke coming down on a long. PH Rejects are hesitating to take onto this. Possible swallow of the spike entirely as Georgie picks up the kill. A possible second over to Dre, and it is going to be that kill. Super nothing coming through for PH Rejects. They're happy to take the early picks, as well as getting swallowed up by the spike, minimizing the amount of damage that KDM could have been dealt onto them 2-0 nonetheless.
Absolutely, and they die to the spike, not letting any orbs given here, any extra orbs given to the rejects, to Kadiliman. As shots are found, beautiful execution here from the side of the rejects, as they were able to secure 2 before faltering to the spike, but that is completely fine, as the economy is going to be on the side of the rejects here on the defense. Let's see if they're able to hold their own against this KDM squad.
Yeah. Time running down as well, 2-0. Kadiliman gonna push on in, and Dre's gonna surprise Georgie. Baraka Yoru down. A short extremity focused up by Kadiliman. And now NDG has an opportunity. Swallowed up Wild Oreo. Already to focus. Dre's gonna shut him down. That's a double. Possible third. No, it's not. Skylar Vaughn gets the double, but it's not gonna be enough. Borkum able to answer back with a kill of his own. 3v2. Nexi, napaka-sexy, gets the shot in, takes down Borkum, but Yux able to spray them down one by one. A double for Yux, and a 3-0 for Kadiliman. They're starting hot out of the Haven map.
The rejects are faltering one by one. I mean, this push by Georgie unsuccessful, although he did take a lot of damage for the team. Wild Oreo just wasn't able to secure it. Skylar Vaughn was there for the trade, but if you look at how this was played by Kadiliman, every angle taken, every duel fought, it was just them on top, with contingency after contingency working out for them, as PH Rejects having the most difficult time right now to go up against this KDM squad.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the type of force that you have to be reckoned with. Kadiliman with their confidence, trailblazing into that A-short extremity. They started with a slow push on the first 2 rounds, and now from their third, they took the pedal to the metal and just swung to the fences of PH Rejects.
There it is. Trench warfare once again, ladies and gentlemen. And when you're at a stage like this in the tournament, you don't want to give anything the chance. As NDG is looking to scope out any sort of information here. But again, the positioning is key here for KDM. As PH Rejects, this is a team that when they absorb the knowledge of whatever you're trying to achieve, they will turn it against you. So KDM needs to stay on their toes. At hindi sila pwede magpakampante dito. And as I say that, Toge is able to secure a kill on Yux. And that is them looking for a trade. But Toge is able to put a smoke down and make things possible here for the Rejects.
Full value from his Marshall as well. They took down the breach, so that is one of the more critical initiators that they have. They would have used the fault line over towards the A side extremity. They would have needed
30
flash
seconds left.
just so Dre could get a clean enough take. Swap over the weaponry. The outlaw will be in the hands of the Sova this time. So now, Kadaliman forced on the approach on A. Dash on in 20 seconds for the execute. No ultis to prevent them from ever getting the spike. They do have a man count advantage, but KDM have the better gun still.
No lurkers on the side of KDM though, as it is going to be a full force going to be shown here by the side of your boys at the Rejects, looking for a slide. Nexi able to secure a kill. 13 RD. NDG going to be able to get it down as KDM put the pedal in the metal, and the pressure being placed on the shoulders of the Rejects. Good plan, but bad execution here coming in from the side of the Rejects as KDM bring the darkness against their opponents.
And they shut the light out. Over to the side of the PH Rejects roster as Kadaliman fully realized that the C-side push was not absolute. They got taken out by just one Marshall, but they still had the better guns anyway, so too far away for the upgrade. They rotate back onto the A side. Now Kadaliman looks like they're fully investing all their forces in towards C-Long to get close angle expected. Nexi on the hunt from the backside of things as well. Everybody from PH Rejects are not too far behind to respond to this aggression. Push on in from Dre. He's already on backside. Kills off Nexi. Kills off Skyler Vaughn. But Toge gets one, gets two. The spray is absolute, but it's not going to be enough to get taken care of by NDG. Will be the 2 versus 3.
Stellar positioning there from Toge, able to secure those kills, but Drake catches wind of it before it gets any worse, as it is going to be a post-plant scenario going to be thrown out here. NDG, lost positioning as Wild Oreo and Georgie take them down both.
And you're the last man alive. The smoker on down, no paranoia, no smoke. Has to peek them dry. Takes care of one, he knows that it's a fake defuse, but he has to pick his timing correctly. Wild Oreo spotted and Georgie's going to win it. Yours gonna net them a possible 5th, but PH Rejects count on their numbers, and their stars have aligned to get the first round on the board.
Absolute phenomenal performance being put up here by the Rejects, finally finding their mojo and able to secure it as KDM falter when it matters the most. This is why you check your angles. I mean, this is an unexpected positioning, especially in a high-level play like this. In this level of play in the tournament, you wouldn't expect a smoker to be taking a really obvious tuck in that corner. But what sold it even more was Dre taking out somebody from the side of PH Rejects, running away from it, running away from the C site. And that's what sold the positioning, giving them that false sense of security on towards the site. And now the round is going to be on the side of both teams to see who will take the reins here of the momentum.
Yeah. KDM confidence shaken, but the focus is still here. The goal definitely not changed. They are going to approach this slowly with all their forces separated from the pack. PH Rejects feeling this. They're investing this operator on Georgie to post up on the angle on A, but the problem is Kadaliman no better than to peek an angle dry.
There it is. This is what Kadaliman likes to do. They like to hold this push on towards C-Long. They did their film. They know exactly how PH Rejects plays, and they like to push an angle wherein they have the opening. But now it is going to be a dash on towards site with Dre taking the angle.
Yep, and that's going to be a really good breach stun. Dre gets the entry. Dre gets a double. Knocks him down to a peg, but Skyler Vaughn, the main character, shows himself where they need him the most. Puts it out from the garage entry. And Borkum, he has to make the timing. He needs to dodge down the window. But Skyler Vaughn, he sees him. The feet of Borkum is spotted. KDM trying to find a window, and it's shut down immediately by Skyler Vaughn himself. A 1v2 for NDG now. Georgie stuck on the cross, and the angle is felt. NDG down, and a 4K for Scarlet Vaughn nets them the second round for PH Rejects.
Absolute phenomenal hold there coming in from Skylar Vaughn. These are the breakout plays that you need to get that momentum back on your side. Yes, the Rejects may have been falling towards the sides of wherein they need those star players to make those plays and give them that advantage, but they'll take any advantage as they need it because of how Kadiliman is performing right now. They're really putting pressure on towards the plays that PH Rejects used to be comfortable on, forcing them to look for a different play in the playbook.
This has been fun so far to watch. As KDM, they want to put the pedal to the metal. Skylar Vaughn already feeling the heat from the previous round. Does not expect Yor on the other side. Blind on in. A dash coming through for third. And it will be the shot. But it won't be the double kill. Dre explodes into the faces of both Wild Oreo as well as Nexi. 2 versus 4. Neural Theft activated. Borkum knows where both of these players are going to be coming from. So they rush on in towards Garage. Or possible B site.
Pings are going to be across the map. Toge is already noted of as Dre is looking for a swing. Beautiful use of the flash there. Doesn't expect this, but there is a man coming from behind him as Toge gets caught. What time is it? It's time to show it as Borkum finds a kill, and now Georgie's up to a 1v3.
Yep, spotted on the cross. They have to take care of them, and this will be that coordinated peek from Dre. A triple from him. They know not to give Georgie an opportunity. So that will be the 5th round posted for Kadiliman. They took it calm and collectively just to get Borkum the timing to get this.
And I mean, Georgie just try to keep these things alive. I mean, he had the chance with the shorty, but then again, 3 angles to cover is something that you can't do even if you are the best in the game. And that's exactly what Georgie fell into. PH Rejects now being in their timeout. They need to readjust. They need to recuperate from that deficit that they have. I mean, they had those plays coming in from Skylar Vaughn, but KDM is just showing a different beast that they were yesterday and in the previous rounds that they had in this tournament, considering how they had a really slow start, but they're finishing off their games really, really well, considering how they made a change in roles, how they decided to just play what they're strong at, and that's exactly what's bringing them over the line in a against a squad like what PH Rejects is.
And sometimes it's not about the star players. It's about how you gel as a team at the end of the day. I say that Skylar Vaughn has been relied upon for so many times, so many rounds where he has to post up the multis. But Kadiliman are winning with just pure good calls coming out for Borkum and the rest of the squad.
Yes, this should do.
That is it. Looking for it off the timeout. They need to find an opening here. Yes, the buys have been not in their favor, but a call could be made, an audible could be found. But as I say that, Dre finds an opening frag. And it is going to be going quiet once again. That is man advantage on an eco, and that's looking like it's a clear-cut win.
Dre expected from the operator, but Georgie's gonna go on the hunt. He gets one and he goes out thanks to the Yoru, but that is gonna be the trade of kills. NDG gets the window peek, kills off Nexi after the 1-for-1, 3 versus 3. And this time that A site take looking wide open, but they don't even know about PH Rejects' short push.
This is difficult. Rolling Thunder is on the ready. Yux does take note of this as the paranoia is starting to settle in for KDM. Georgie, however, looking for a push, gets NDG out of the perch. And there it is, a dimensional drift found.
They have all the info. And they also have the ulti, the overdrive for Skylar Vaughn, killed off by Dre. 2v2, and because of the flash, it's not gonna work out for Dre. Pulls out the shorty, and Georgie just knocks him down with a triple kill. It will be PH Rejects off of good placement of the flank, as well as awareness from that A short extremity. 3-5 from the defensive side.
I mean, just the positioning of Georgie in this play with Nexi being able to follow up almost immediately. No time, no room for reaction here for the side of your boys at Kadiliman. I mean, he tried to go in for that shorty play. That's exactly what you're supposed to do in that situation. But Georgie knew to keep his space, even if he had that low HP. And that's exactly what brought them over the line. This might be a spark for their momentum, folks, as this is a game to watch now as PH Rejects cut the lead down by 2.
Yeah, and they're separating the pack this time. They know that they have the lower guns, so they're just going to try to play picks. Pistols in hand. Garage already established by Dre and the rest of the pack. Maybe an insert play, leave the jet to get themselves the peak. Now it is going to be the push down. B-side already the focus for Kadiliman as they put the fault line down. Will this be a good decision from the attack? as the rotation hasn't been commencing yet.
Tuge.
Paranoia also available for the side to get. He puts it down. The entry comes in for C-Link. Borkum gets one. It will be Skylar Bomb with the spray down. Rolling Thunder invested. And NDG knocks him down with one. It's already done and dusted. The post plant is on absolute. They're picking off one by one. And it's all down to Tuge. A 1v2. He has a Vandal. He has the upgrade. But he has to fight off the operator from your... As it's the sharpshooter from Kadiliman that nets the triple kill and gets the 6-3.
And this is what I love seeing with Kadiliman. I mean, this is the way that they reset their games. Looking back at how they were playing these fights on Haven, I mean, if you think about it, they're gonna be trying to aggress A, they're gonna be trying to aggress C, but then again, if they're not winning those fights, they're gonna boil it down to a 50-50, and that's exactly what the B site is. They take that hit, they make it a bloodbath, they get the plant, but at the end of the day, once they get that gun upgrade with an operator, they shut down Tuge, and they're able to secure that win.
As cool and as calm as they need it to be. Fully knowing that the investments are still present for Kadiliman, they make it a focused attempt. And even putting their lives in towards the extremities. But look at Nexi. He's getting caught. As Georgie, it was a bait and switch all along. A 3K in the midst, but it will be that too. As Tuge will pick it up from Georgie. The sacrifice of a lifetime. That is already the spike down on Garage, but claimed up thanks to the From the Shadows from Yor, but it's still damage done.
Safety found here by Team Kadiliman as they have already secured the spike. Now looking to reaggress on towards mid, but no greed was found there from Tuge. He knew the exact positioning of that Cypher, but he didn't leave it to chance and leave it to a 2v2. And now, aggression is going to be on the side of the rejects, as Skylar Vaughn is able to get that information, knows exactly the positioning of Borkum. But now a rotation on towards B, looking to make this a 50-50 once again as they move up towards this site.
They have no idea about the forces of PH Rejects. They can have the open B plant, but they're using the amount of time just to clear these corners.
30 seconds left.
Or a possible A take as well. They're pinging it out. Have the possibility they know that A could be a safe plant for them, but because they're already close to B,
Spike planted.
it already makes sense for them to commence the post plant right now.
And this is a good read from the side of KDM. They know that the PH Rejects' resources are going to be placed on towards the C side of the map, but now it's a setup on towards a retake, and it is going to be a recon bolt now to fight the push.
Oh, that's a stun. That's a really bad paranoia. Would have been set up, and Yor just knocks him down 1v1, and it's up against Wild Oreo, but Borkum loses the fight, and Wild Oreo rises from the ashes. He started with a really nice shot on the Sheriff, and finally shows his true colors on the rifle. 4-6 for PH Rejects.
Absolutely. I mean, it is not your time just yet, Borkum. As Wild Oreo goes insane in that round, being able to clutch up when he needed it the most. Got the secured kill with the Sheriff, and then followed up with a Vandal kill, being able to get that gun upgrade from one of the bodies of his teammate. As you can see there, he finds a connection, picks up that Vandal. Just stellar performance, and an even better placement of the crosshair mechanics on display here by Wild Oreo.
Yeah, a master of his craft. And he has to do much more just to get himself the opening. His Dre, Blaze Storm active, has a Bucky if he needs a contingency plan. But PH Rejects, they know better than to get these early peaks. They're gonna have to go back and reconsider their security. As with Kadiliman already inserting their Jet and their Omen, they're gonna reconsider their options on B site as NDG will knock down Georgie in the early peak. Pushes it on with a flash coming in. Nexi joining the B site backside plant, but not preventing KDM from ever getting the space. They still have the option of going back to the A site.
And now it is going to be moving up towards the A site. The full force of Kadiliman looking to take the lead in the first half as they are ready, set, and going to take this site. As the lead is pushed here by Dre, and now the push has commenced.
Yep, the push on in, the double kill, the 3K for Wild Oreo. Time and time again, he's been delivering the goods. As now it will be the 1v1. Nexi spots out the last two. As now Borkum has no idea. It's all the way towards hell. The spike not within his reach. 30 seconds. Push on in from backside. Find him out. But the neural threat for Nexi is clutch. Now he knows that he's on the other side of this backside plant. 20 seconds. Pushes on in. Finds the master. Pushes in towards a headshot. Borkum remembers that it's Borkum time and gets himself the 7th round.
finally back on the clock here for Borkum, ladies and gentlemen, as he was able to take down Nexi. What was thought as his round, he had to use that neural theft to get that information. But then again, pure mechanics being displayed once again on this match, and it boiled down to the better trigger, better barrel, and it falls into Borkum's favor, as now the lead is taken by KDM in the first half, 7-4.
The Liman stealing the rounds away from pure individuals. And now it will be the push on in towards the mid-side. Hunter's Fury spotted, and it will be Wild Oreo yet again. This guy has been a consistent force, but now everybody on T-spawn, everybody dying to the hands of Dre and your Kadaliman resurfacing from the depths as Wild Oreo continues to reign supreme. A triple from him, a 2v2, a neural theft from Borkum, runs on into the B site.
Absolutely, information gathered there, and the plant is going to be going down. 13 HP left on Georgie, and a lot of utility still on the ready here for the side of your boys at the Rejects, as Wild Oreo going to be able to get a tag on towards Dre, and this is going to be very tricky for them to retake, but Georgie spots his one. Borkum looking to get it down as he has the time on his hands, looking for the swing. He gets it! Ooh. As Borkum shows time and time again that he is the experienced one. Don't count him out, as it is Borkum time.
8-4, and KDM has been delivering the goods time and time again, despite heroics from Wild Oreo, despite the clutch ult all the way towards T-spawn. It was too far of a reach for PH Rejects. They pushed a little bit too aggressively, and Kadaliman took full advantage. Dre on the off angle, as well as Yor with the discipline, hand for hand and pound for pound, taking it to the players of PH Rejects. And the decision to run all the way towards the B site, where it had to come down to Borkum. And it was fiery hot from him to come into the second half. 4-8, Kadaliman now on the defense.
Now an early recon bolt gonna get thrown out. It looks like they're looking to land on towards C side. With the way that positioned here, PH Rejects are looking to set the pace and tone for this attacking side. As they force to fall back, they take note of this. They have the read on the side of KDM as they are looking for a paranoia play here on towards A main. But as of the moment, the positioning and the resources are looking to be pushed on towards C site.
That's a lot of people from PH Rejects. Only trusting in towards a C site, knowing that the trips are not going to be found around their entry. Borkum will have to call his troops on the retake scenario, but they're too far away, as his first contact will be Georgie if he does push outside of the window. Or maybe against Nexi. They're the ones who are going to push onto him.
Wow.
Push his buttons, but Borkum with the wall bang. Everybody from PH Rejects are not happy with that, so they're pushing outside of the site. Another retake scenario from behind as Yor will find Georgie in the process. Another flag coming through. Dre shutting down Wild Oreo. Everybody falling down like flies. Kadaliman not letting PH Rejects even get a lick of the objective. 9-4.
And a lot of space was given, but a lot of space was taken back. Thanks to the information given there by Borkum. I mean, he was still able to get out of that site alive. I mean, he was inside the window looking to secure a frag, and he did with only a sliver of HP left. That man was insane. Having that supportive utility from Yux, being able to stun the pusher and not get that trade, and then eventually just started falling down like dominoes for the Rejects. KDM take another pistol on their belts.
Yeah, this is just going to be another most of the ball round yet again. NDG sprayed through the smoke onto Georgie, not giving him a chance to play Valorant. Not a good look so far, but it is going to be the eco round for PH Rejects as NDG continues, his reign continues, his terror. Double kill for him. Shock dodge for good measure, and Skylar Vaughn might eat the full brunt of this. He does dodge away from it, but Yor will get the double layer and the spray down into a double kill. That will be the last one for Nexi, but Yor will continue with a triple kill. 10-4, double digits for Kadaliman.
And this is not a good sight to see for Rejects. I mean, these guys have been stellar in their performances, and they were able to secure a lot of wins prior to this match. But now, they're looking to be a little bit shaky against this team known as Kadaliman. I mean, they're really bringing the darkness here and not pumping any brakes whatsoever, not leaving anything to stand. No breathing room given here for the Rejects. I mean, they've already invested a timeout, and yet they're not able to find the momentum that they need to win over this fight against this squad.
Yeah, flash on in. Another fast entry from PH Rejects. They got A long control, but Kadalima know the assignment. They don't need to get these early peaks going. Especially with Borkum now on the helm on defending this A site alone.
As it is movement on the board here. Looks like they are looking to put their resources here for the side of the Rejects towards A site. They're going to be met with Borkum's setup, however. And this is going to be very difficult. All Borkum needs to do is delay this push in order for the rest of his team to come back from this fight.
Yeah. Remember, the Cypher Tripwire nerfs also not going to get the reveal as they got full entry, and it will be another spray down for Borkum. It's not going to connect over to Skylar Vaughn. He is low on HP, and one shock dart could actually spell disaster for him. It doesn't hit onto the Neon. He's already on that CT angle. Also a crossbar established. PH Rejects have themselves the site plant. And while the Oreo trying to play the long angle, try to play the bait and switch for Skylar Vaughn. Does get the spray, does got a lot of damage, and Dre will get one. Dre will get the second, fully clearing the backside. It will be a triple for Dre. An explosion inside of A, and Nexi with a double, leaving it all to Georgie. But what can he do? Handle in hand, has the flashes, has everything in his arsenal. But Yux is putting the pressure. He's pushing the buttons of Georgie as NDG will claim the 11th round. Kadaliman. It wasn't a perfect retake, but they got the job done.
Absolutely. I mean, perfect read there by Borkum. He held the site down well, dealing enough damage for Skylar Vaughn to really snuff out the energy, the burning sensation that he really puts up whenever he tries to fight. Hindi siya nakapag-init doon dahil sa hold ni bossing mo Borkum, and he was safe in heaven. And this is the second time out that the Rejects have taken. I mean, Kadiliman is sitting pretty to where they're standing right now, with Dre spotting up 22 kills, 9 deaths, and 3 assists, leading his team into victory, going up against a squad that we thought was actually really good for having no org backing them up whatsoever. But now the difference is being shown in the team play and the experience that most of these players have from the side of KDM comparing to what the PH Rejects have. They have the experience and they have that motion, they have that rhythm to bring them into this next round to take that match point. But what PH Rejects need to do is they need to look for those openings. They need to find ways so that they're able to isolate these fights, because KDM is very good at those rotations and they're very good at playing those retakes. So all they need to do is play their numbers, slowly but surely look for those kills, play those defaults, and they may be able to look for a toehold in this fight.
Sabi sa'yo eh, Dre was going to be somewhat of an MVP candidate. This guy has been putting up a performance of a lifetime. 22 kills on the Jet. If he continues this reign, then this will be a very big threat against Kadaliman, while PH Rejects now will invest into a stinger buy for the rest of the core. Push on in from Skylar Vaughn, expecting Dre on the top of things. Gets one, that's two. That will be a 3K to knock down the forces of PH Rejects. Hungry to take the push, but unlucky to fight up against Dre on top of the structure. Match point for Kadaliman.
All hope lost. The Rejects stay rejected, and the doubted are looking to close things out with the way that Kadaliman is poised and positioned. 1 orb off to get the Blade Storm, 2 orbs off to get that Hunter's Fury. Kadaliman is poised, ready, and set to win this fight. They have the bye on their hands against PH Rejects, who have a little bit of a short bye. This is do or die for the squad of the Rejects.
Not only to this series, but to their tournament lives in Predator League 26. As PH Rejects are walking on their last legs, a push on in from Skylar Vaughn. Nothing to stop him within their tracks, but the forces of Kadaliman are hungry with this peak. Yor gets one onto Georgie. That will deny the Yoru, but Nexi, he's feeling it! He's cooking with the peak on down! Skylar Vaughn gets another as Dre falling from the hands of defeat. Hand coming down as well from the side of the PH Rejects. At least they got the objective, but Skylar Vaughn, he's hungry for the goods. He's hungry to take the peaks. He gets one, but a triple for Yor to shut down the hopes and dreams of PH Rejects. But Wild Oreo, the money shot from the triple makes it a 5-12. PH Rejects not out just yet.
Absolute phenomenal display of mechanics here by Wild Oreo, keeping his team alive. What once was thought was lost, Yor stepped up to the plate, able to secure Skylar Vaughn, but at the same time, Wild Oreo was just there to isolate those fights well, and they are not out of this fight just yet. Kadiliman needs to stay on their toes if they want to close this out.
This is intense as the rounds progress. And PHP Rejects have done it before, but this time it does not work out for the side of Dre. Hunter's Fury try to Dre it off, or trade off Dre at least with time, but NDG is gonna kill off Toge. Skylar Vaughn with another one. It's a clean entry to the C site, but Yuk spotted. It's a double peek from Skylar Vaughn and the rest of the pack, but they still have enough. They still have another one as Yor will get the spray down onto Skylar Vaughn. 2v3 in an instant. KDM has lost the C site.
And this is just difficult for KDM. I mean, what they thought was a clear-cut round, they were able to secure those kills, but at the same time, it's a post plant for PH Rejects with Nexi coming from behind. Yuk's not expecting this. You're securing one, you're securing two. Wait a second! Can he make this possible? Looking for a swing, he cannot! As Georgie puts the gavel down and keeps them alive in this match.
You gotta respect that the retake scenario wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for Yor with the double swing to get himself 2 kills, but PH Rejects were cooking. And how they were able to punish Dre in his conquest to get that mid control. And this time the C-Long push worked out. It wasn't clean, but they made it work with Georgie being the hero of the squad. 6-12. This game is not done. That's 2 rounds in a row for PH Rejects. They're happy to take any wins at this point.
But a setup on towards A, and they're looking to close this out now. PH Rejects looking to keep that momentum as Dre is going to be pushing up towards C long. No contact found, as this is going to be a hold in the positioning that PH Rejects is going to be taking. They don't want to leave anything to chance. They know that they've been garnering that momentum, and this is a shift that KDM is making. But right now, PH Rejects is reading this well, looking to make things possible for them as they creep up towards the A site.
They have no idea that it's a triple stack on A for Kadiliman though. Despite all the forces, they are prepared for the peak. It's the fast lane out, but NDG's playing around it. NDG will come up with the goods! A double for him, but everybody's on the site. Borkum! Is it Borkum time? It's not! The clock stops ticking! As Wild Oreo forces down the 1v1, and it's up against Dre, the MVP so far. But he does have the operator. Now switches down into the Blade Storm. He has the time to wrap around. Has no idea where Wild Oreo is gonna rotate at, but he's taking his sweet time.
He's gonna get it to half.
On the spike, does have the Hunter's Fury. It will
Wait
be
a
the
sec,
bait. It has to be the
sticking!
Dre's gonna steal it!
Point
It
four!
work out! As Wild Oreo will collect the 7th with just seconds to spare.
0.4 milliseconds. This man is on his own timing as that triggers the first KDM timeout of this match. Ladies and gentlemen, Wild Oreo going insane on this map
Player standing.
as he's able to save the day once again by a sliver of time. As the scales tip to his favor in that scenario, PH Rejects still alive in this fight, still kicking as KDM is looking shaky in this fight.
Man, their first timeout, and they know what type of pressure they're in right now. They were in the driver's seat throughout the second half of this game. And finally, PH Rejects are making Kadiliman sweat.
This was very difficult for them, honestly. With the way that KDM has been playing, this should have been their win already. This should have tipped in their balance 3-4 rounds ago. But now, PH Rejects pulling out all the stops, not letting anything to chance to KDM. And this might be something that KDM will get stinged by. Because considering the fact that they were so close to winning these things, that's a really heavy toll on the mental of these players. And if they let that get the best of them, PH Rejects may have a chance to bring this to an overtime and maybe even take over the game.
Now,
I don't know if that made you dizzy, but it did to me. Dre is testing out his mouse pad, see if things are still working, but we're back in the game. 7-12. Bashana and Nexi spotted, and Yor is gonna collect. That is a combination of him peeking plus the utility from NDG. To respond with this, dimensional drift from Georgie. They're pushing onto the C site.
And that is very difficult. I mean, nagdalawang isip dito si Georgie. Hindi niya alam kung saan siya pupunta with that dimensional drift as Skylar Vaughn is gonna get caught out in this angle. And now, Plant is going to be down for the rejects, but it is going to be a full force for Kadiliman on this retake as the smokes are going to be placed down here for the side of KDM to flood into the site.
4-man push onto C-Long yet again. They know that Yor is still alive, so it's all gonna come down to how this postman's gonna work out. Georgie still alive, can just rotate on towards Garage, but all the focus is on the side itself. They smoked off the spike.
no.
The defuse is gonna be happening. The half is for NDG and
It's over.
KDM will just do it just like that. They steal it under the noses of the PH Rejects as they qualify towards the playoffs of PL26.
And that is it, folks. Kadiliman Esports showing a different face in this tournament, booking that final ticket to playoffs. Ladies and gentlemen, let us congratulate the winners of that series. Big props, though, for the performance of the Rejects. I mean, you made it this far, and that was an absolute stellar of a competition being shown by you guys. But then again, it is still going to be Kadiliman coming out on top at the end of the day. So congratulations to this squad. Especially, I want to give a huge shout out to Dre. Grabe yung performance niya kanina, being able to secure those frags, entry well for the team, and take that space. Ang galing talaga ng young gun na to, and he's been putting up numbers for this team ever since they came from that deficit on Corrode.
What was that last round? I mean,
Yeah.
there
Let's
was
talk
no
about that.
reason for them to give the C site. I mean, the smoker on the other side was still alive. They had 4 people still alive, and if they had full trust in their aim, edi sana mahirapan on the retake scenario. Siguro kasi they were trusting Georgie to be on the fast flank, pero it kind of gave an opportunity for KDM to just go on in towards the spike defuse agad-agad with the smoke still alive. So talagang it was plays like these for KDM where they didn't show that much pressure at all. Oo, dumating tayo sa point na kala natin magiging comeback na to for PH Rejects, especially with players like Wild Oreo coming alive when they need him. Sa mga multi-frags na ginagawa niya, sa mga clutches, he was able to at least shorten the gap na meron sana ang KDM. If it wasn't for him, this would have been gone a little bit easier, pero wala eh. KDM already built up a foundation already from the first half so far. They have shown confidence, and it later translated into the second half na medyo mainit na agad si Yor at saka si Dre eh.
Yeah, they started off strong in this map and they finished off even stronger. Coming off from that timeout, using it very, very well. That audible called was absolutely impeccable. Having that early frag on towards the Cypher of the PH Rejects. Nexi immediately getting taken out. No information given to these players from the side of PH Rejects, ultimately falling to their downfall. I mean, in the latter parts of that round, once they got that spike down, they needed to find those picks. They needed to play that site well. They didn't have the Hunter's Fury, as he did use it to bait out that defuse from your boy Skylar Vaughn kanina. But at the end of the day, makikita natin, or the neon of your boys at Kadiliman rather. But at the end of the day, nahirapan lang talaga dito ang boys nyo sa PH Rejects, considering that Kadiliman has shown that they are in it to win it for this tournament. Something that no one really expected, considering how they started in this tournament. But now that they're ending it really, really strong against the Rejects of PH, there's honestly anyone's game na at this point for our top 4 teams in this tournament.
Totoo. At syempre, dahil doon na-establish na natin yung 4 na nakapag-qualify na sa playoffs dahil dito Sitting on top ready on 3-0 will be Oasis Gaming. Following up is si Sipto Esports. Pati na rin dito ang mga players natin on DLSU. And now, ang Kadiliman na din ang kasama din dito sa ating top 4. Na makikita din natin tomorrow on our semifinals game. We'll see the bracket later on para officially makita nyo kung ano yung itsura ng kabuuan ng ating naging Swiss stage. It was one heck of a journey to begin with. We started on 8. Ngayon, naghati-hati na ang competition, and this is where it gets more intense, Bluey.
And like I said, these were slobber knockers of series, and I was not wrong. The final day of Swiss finally gave us our last top 4 teams, and like Ramon said, these teams are absolute formidable opponents towards each other. Now, Oasis Gaming has that priority pick on the seeding, but then again, you have to understand that any of the teams that they will pick will be a competition, as they have put a target on their backs. A lot of prowess was shown, a lot of plays from their playbook were shown in their previous matches that can easily be reviewed by these players, easily counteracted, but we will see tomorrow if Oasis Gaming still stands steadfast in their hold of that throne, or will they be dethroned by one of the 3 teams that made it past this Swiss stage.
That's true. And now, if you are Oasis Gaming, now you consider the type of options that you have kung sino yung pipiliin nyo. No? You already had that fight against Sipto, so you kind of don't want to get yourselves in a bit of a grind pagdating doon sa ating Grand Finals. So I think they're gonna ignore that fact. They have 2 choices kung ganon. Ang either PH, yung ating players on Kadiliman, o kaya ang DLSU, both of which had to claw their way papunta dito sa ating semifinals bracket. So talagang Oasis Gaming will not have an easy time to consider this talaga. Lahat ng nasa top 4 ngayon, sobrang stacked at kakaiba yung mga styles na yung napapakita kung saan yung mental resiliency ng DLSU ang isa sa mga pinakamagandang weapons na meron sa kanila. Dito naman sa Kadiliman, very creative ang nakikita natin. Flexible yung ibang mga star players natin dito, and you also have to consider the MVP performance from Dre. He's been phenomenal in this tournament so far, and plus the Sipto Esports, syempre you don't have to count them out as well. They're still one of the more stable teams that we've seen dito. It wasn't a perfect record coming up to the semifinals, pero they're still a formidable opponent kapag nasa tamang mood, nasa tamang oras na sila kalabanan ng kahit sino dito sa ating top 4 bracket.
I agree with you on that one. Just immediate agreement on all the mechanical and intellectual prowess that they have been putting up. All the effort has boiled down to the top 4. Pero Ramon, may gusto lang ako i-point out, the whole 3 series that we had today, lahat ng prediction ko mali. Lahat ng prediction ko mali. First game, you had Oasis winning, I had Sipto winning. You took that 1-0. Number 2, even though that I wanted DLSU to win, I based it off the stats, went for the all-fu pick, and you went for the LaSalle pick. You believed in the revenge run, and the revenge run happened, and then I lost again on the draft. Going into the 3rd match, ang talino mo talaga, bossing Ramon, as you still took the cake, letting Kadiliman, Narpim's boys win against the Rejects. As we can see here, napakaganda naman talaga ng mga plays na ginawa nila dito against the Rejects. And just a good read, all in all, from the side of your boys dito sa Kadiliman Esports.
Yeah, and I think it's also exciting to actually see Bolcom at the top yet again, coming up with NDG, kasi yung story nila post Team Secret has been one to remember. Talagang matagal na natin hindi nakikita yung dalawang players na to in the limelight. Predator League will actually give them that spotlight. Predator League will actually give them the chance para maipakita sa lahat kung bakit dapat ito yung pinipick up ng duo. Buti na lang si Boss Narpim, alam niya kung ano yung dapat niyang kunin, di ba? Si NDG, solid on the clutch. Si Borcom maayos ang pag-lurk niya. But it matters so much. Nagpapakitang gilas lang din yung mga young guns din nila dito. This is a Kadiliman to actually be excited about, and they have showcased this against PHP Jacks na orgless roster nga sila, pero at their peak napakahirap nilang kalaban, pare.
Oo, agree talaga ako doon. And mind you, this Kadiliman roster, they have had their difficulties in trying to find that rhythm, trying to find the best fit players for this team. I mean, earlier in towards this year, or in the previous iterations of Locked and Loaded, they went up against Oasis Gaming. They fell short, losing 0-3, to now being able to reach the top 4 of Predator League because of this new roster that they had. Tatlong words na lang yung masasabi ko sa iyo, Ramon. Yun ay, let's go, men. Napakalakas talaga ng Kadiliman Esports. Grabe, makikita mo dito. Hindi. Tatlo yun. Dinivide ko muna. Pero according to Narpim, isang word lang yun. Pero yan na nga, ang scoreboard natin. Kadiliman Esports going up against PH Rejects 13-7. At grabe talaga ang performance ni Dre dito, night and day. Not even comparable to his own teammates with the way that he played his game.
Yeah. And the thing about that is, nagsa-stand out nga dito si Dre, pero to come up to this point, he's been thriving under the support of Yor, and a lot of times that he's been doing these things, lagi siya may ka-double pick kasama tong si Yor. Si NDG as well, with his utility usage, he has perfected yung kung saan niya pwedeng i-manipulate yung kung saan ang positions ng mga players ng PHP Jacks, giving them the confidence to push up in every sort of site. So, with all that being said, let's welcome the match MVP para sa Kadiliman Esports. It is none other than Dre. Yesterday, he was a standout, and now he is a demon.
Absolutely, with the average combat score of 375 with 26, 13, and 4 as the score line on Jet. I mean, there's nothing really less expected of a player of this caliber. The way that he was just playing that role, the way that the whole team was just playing around him, being able to support him and get him those kills, Dre was really playing his game. And not to say that he was spoon-fed, as this guy was able to secure kills that didn't even need his team's utility at times. He was just able to steal the show and take away the reins from the PH Rejects, and that ultimately gave them the way to secure this win against them.
Yep. And later on, makikita natin yung kabuuan ng naging system natin. No? So, syempre, maganda ding pag-usapan yung naging journey so far ng mga players natin ngayon. No? Parang from kadiliman, day 1 goes out the window. Kalimutan na natin yung Phoenix ni Borkum at saka yung mga pagkakamali na nangyari dito. Kasi importante, nasa playoffs na ang mga batang ito. Katulad na din ni Borkum dito, ang super rookie para sa ating PH roster na ito for kadiliman. Talagang napaka-exciting yung naging istorya ng kahit sino dito sa Predator League. Already talked about KDM. Syempre, ito naman sana yung redemption story ng Zipto Esports. The loss against Oasis Gaming is something that will fuel their hunger, lalo na't nakarating sila sa semifinals. For DLSU, this is a time for their own redemption arc where they were once a dynasty. Ngayon, may opportunity na silang magkaroon ng trophy. Nag-iisang collegiate team na kalaban ng lahat ng mga pro teams dito, at pati na rin para sa Oasis, this is their chance to make it big with a multi-time trophy para sa PLC natin. And this is something that not a lot of rosters can boast about. So Oasis Gaming really is reshaping their dynasty right now.
Absolutely, but as we move on, ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you guys enjoyed the Swiss stage, as we are now playoffs bound with this update on our brackets. We can see 3-0 being held by none other than Oasis Gaming, at maglalaban-laban sila dito alongside Sipto, DLSU Green Aces, and Kadiliman Esports, as we bid farewell to Ulfo Ember Phoenix and PH Rejects. Ayan, so very much excited to see what is in store for us tomorrow. It is a single elimination bracket. So, kung matalo ka, yun na yun. Pero pag nanalo ka, diretso ka na Grands. November, pare.
Kaya nga eh. Just to remind everybody, LAN ang pupuntahan nila sa Grand Finals as well. So, the stakes are high for all the young guns who are fighting for a chance to get the dream of their lives, which is to play in a live LAN. So sana naman mag-deliver ang BO3 semifinals natin bukas, especially to the teams who are looking to bounce back from their losses today. Talagang eyes on you, Sipto, and eyes on Oasis Gaming. They're the favorites to win in my eyes. Pero para na rin sa underdogs natin dito for DLSU as well as for Kadiliman, the opportunity is now para ma-recognize ang lahat ng tao na sila dapat ang tinitingnan, sila dapat ang kinakrown na kampiyon. But they need to prove it over at the semifinals pa lang before we head off into November, kung saan laban na over to the Grand Finals.
Absolutely. All of these teams have been stellar, but now the stage is set for the playoffs tomorrow, as they are ready to conquer the curve. And you can conquer the curve too by using the Predator X34's Infinity Widescreen as your new battleground. Dive into the abyss, wreak havoc, and claim victory. Get the competitive edge available at Acer Predator Concept Stores, authorized resellers, and the Acer Online Store.
Yeah, and you also have the option to master the game with the Predator X39's expansive display, where every war is an epic and every frame is harmony and hurts. Plunge into the abyss, unleash your destructive power, and reshape reality with the X39, where you can get it at Acer Predator Concept Stores, as well as authorized resellers, as well as the Acer Online Store. This is available nationwide, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to get your own X39 as well as your own X34. These are top-of-the-line monitors brought to you by Predator. And thanks to them as well para ma-organize ang Predator League 2026. This has been a blast so far, but the show is not done. We have tomorrow to see the semifinals, Bluey.
Absolutely, and I'm excited as you are, but right now we have to put it up in wraps, as this is the Swiss stage, gonna be concluding with our top 4. The stage is set, folks, and don't go anywhere, as we are about to have a lot more action tomorrow, so stay tuned and get ready. Once again, this has been Ramon and Bluey, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for the next match.